I love a buttered biscuit.
Good evening, everybody. Oh my, oh my, oh my. I hope you're doing well this evening. It is so good to see all you fine people this evening. Yes. Yeah, I'm running a little bit late this morning. Oh man, my day was good. I hope yours was well also. I hope yours was well also. I think people are over on What You Doing, Willis, so for the town hall meeting. Hey, that's fine. Let them hang over there. That's absolutely fine. Couldn't hear anything, so I go off, Tammy. I was over there and, well, couldn't hear anything, so I got off. Well, I wanted to read what you said, and it's gone. I don't know. It happens. It's good to see you. Yo, Daniel Barry, Sports Highlights. Good to see you. Hey, Captain Kearns. How you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. Man, oh man, I know that you had some rough days. Down the con, walked out again. Well, that doesn't surprise anybody. Oh, thank you. Phoenix, that's awesome. Had a milestone chat. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Let me tell you, I've hit some milestones this week. Well, more like kidney stones, but we'll call them milestones. No, I'm just kidding. No kidney stones. That'd not be fun. Never had one of those, thankfully. I don't know. I don't know what causes them. I don't want to find out. Let's put it that way. But welcome very much, Phoenix. So glad to have you here. It is amazing the support that this community has thrown out to creators. It is so great. I love it. It's been a good week. Hey, my nerve test sucked. Oh, well, there is that. Supporting is a pleasure. Thanks for the laughs. No, I'm glad I got at least that. I may not have intelligence, but at least I have laughs and humor. You know, it's one of those things. You know, it's rough watching, some of the stuff. And tonight is gonna definitely be a rough one. I'm guaranteeing it. It is gonna be one of those that you wish you didn't have to see. It is gonna be Edgecomb's like best buddy. Oh, thank you for being in my chest, Tammy. That's I'm glad that you can be here. I really am. It's awesome that I've got people that can be in the chats and hang out, and sort of get along with with the chat, because sometimes chat can get vicious. Luckily, mine keeps it pretty calm. They keep it within a realm unless somebody gets in here and starts acting a fool. Usually that would be me showing up acting a fool, but my day was busy. My day was really busy. I had to drive into a very undesirable part of town today to go handle some legal work. Go pick up some documents. That's never fun. So it's a couple hours there and dealing with that, and then just driving. Hey, Catherine W. from Arizona. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so it won't be long before we finish up all this Edgecomb nonsense. It will not be long before that happens. It's coming up very soon. It better behave, because Chippy can be fired up anytime, anywhere. Yes, Chippy can be fired up anytime, anywhere. Speaking of Chippy, gotta get my poo emoji for them so they don't go all bonkers on me. Yeah, tonight's gonna be, one of those nights where you just don't want to miss this guy's testimony, because it is so ridiculous. Oh, and just the intervening in between is even better. Oh, it's so crazy. So crazy. Let's get this thing rolling.
Mr. Mott, who's your next witness or witnesses, and what do we need to discuss?
So, Judge, our next witness we expect to be Ricky Burns. He is outside.
And what do we need to discuss?
Regarding John Black, there were two issues. One was, I guess we can deal with it after Mr. Burns, though. Mr. Black is also outside.
Get our playback speed.
Mr. Hubner, any objection to that?
Well, I mean, can we deal with it now so we can just go back to back? Rather than take another break?
Well, how long do you expect Mr. Burns to be?
Maybe a half hour, Judge?
Fine, let's bring the jury in. Let's have Mr. Burns take the stand, please. After him and Mr. Black, who else do you have?
Half hour.
Whether it's today or tomorrow morning.
We do have the toxicologist. We've also subpoenaed Dr. Kelly for a very brief testimony. We've resubpoenaed Detective.
Counsel, use the mic, please.
Sure, sorry, Judge. Detective Club-Bundy, the toxicologist, and what do you mean?
Detective Club Bundy. Is he any relation to Ted Bundy? Hey, D. Roberts.
You guys, let's
good
not
to
chit-chat amongst
see
ourselves,
you.
Mr.
Good to
Mott.
see you. Glad you can
So
make
tell me who
it.
you're planning the rest of the day, today
Yes.
or tomorrow morning,
Yes,
please.
hey, Terry
Judge, we do expect to
Ham.
conclude tomorrow morning. Mr. Edgecomb also would testify likely tomorrow morning. And there's one more officer that we have subpoenaed here. I may need, if Detective Club-Bundy is not available, then I may need to have Detective Kirk.
This was this guy that got
Yes,
up
the
here.
jury's coming in. You can remain seated, please.
Was an idiot. He's a security officer.
Investigation or in the reports, there should have been a measurement from each of those locations to the primary scene, and the scene where the traffic incident happened is not described at all. There's no address for that.
Nick, he's
Now-
an idiot.
Can you go to the next issue?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can you go to the next issue that you have come to realize as it relates to
Catching
the
up where we
investigation?
left
Well,
off
again, this
last
goes
time.
to the scene, and reading that scene report, one of the major issues that I had was that this occurred on
Well, welcome, Puddletown, coming in from the Otter Creek meeting. Just got done watching the Otter Creek Town meeting. I'm sure it was damn comical. They always are. They always are. Man, I hope that they were able to, handle the meeting well, and it got straightened out. Definitely. So tomorrow morning, I won't be on long. You got physical therapy in the morning. Well, you get to, do what's best for you, Tammy. Really, that is the best thing that I can ask for. Welcome, Scott's Cat, all the way from Scotland.
the bridge, and there was approximately a 20-foot drop. I went over there and I measured it, and this
Awesome.
is a major aspect because of
That's what
the
we like to
possibility of injury or death, and that drop was not even mentioned in the scene report.
Okay. And why is that issue? How does that
They
come to
didn't
be an
need to.
issue as it relates to, a case that you could potentially have regarding it?
Well,
Well, I think it's vague, and I think the witness needs to clarify 20-foot drop from where to where, off of where. He said 20-foot drop. Let's clarify.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
When I say 20-foot drop,
Clarify.
you have the base of the bridge. You have the like the wall that leads to the sidewalk, and if you measure from the sidewalk to the bottom, the distance from the sidewalk
What's that have to
to
do
the
with
bottom or
anything?
to the ground is 20 feet.
And how does that impact a case when it comes to this point? How does that failure affect a potential case?
Well,
None.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this because I believe this is going beyond the scope of what the court has allowed in terms of this testimony. I think it's getting into an area that's beyond that scope.
Overruled. He can answer this question, and we'll see where it goes.
Well, just again, because of if someone is involved in a confrontation, there's the potential that someone could fall off that bridge and
Again, he's going to object because this is bullshit. Like, none of this matters. Like, this guy right here, Ricky Burns, he is a complete moron. And he will show throughout this how much of a moron he actually is.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. This goes specifically as to he's attempting to testify as to what people were thinking, and the court has ruled that out.
Yes. The witness cannot testify to what may have been going through the minds of either the defendant or the victim in this case or anyone else.
There you
Sustained. That last answer is stricken. Let's move on.
Mr. Burns, would that same risk apply to anyone, or, I mean, is that irregardless to this case?
Objection,
Or is there
Your
risk of an individual falling from the 20-foot relative to any investigation that the Milwaukee Police Department has where the incident occurs in that vicinity?
Objection, Your Honor, is to the relevance as to other investigations.
Sustained.
All right,
See-
Mr. Burns, what other issues did you find that took place?
Well, the interview of Mrs. Cleereman,
Okay.
the officer or the detective who interviewed her described her as being hysterical at the time of the interview.
She was, in case you guys didn't see her interview where she was hysterical, there's a possibility. No, she's got a little bit of physical therapy that she's doing today, and she wasn't sure how she was going to be feeling. So if she joins us, that'll be awesome, but she is not by any means, required. She's got some, she doesn't want to get on here and feel bad for you guys, because that would be no fun for her. It'd be no fun for you. It'd be no fun for me. So if she's feeling up for it, she's always welcome here, but we're not sure if she's going to be joining us or not. We may have some other guests joining us. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, girl. It'll happen.
And when you get a witness like that, you want to get as much information from them as you can. But if they are in such an emotional state, you want to go back the next day and re-interview them when they're more calm. And some of the issues that should have been addressed start at the bar where the Cleeremans were before this occurred.
Objection, Your
I would have
Honor.
wanted to know.
The relevance.
Your Honor, is to the relevance as to what he would wanted to know.
Sustained. Let's ask another question, please.
Mr. Burns, could you testify to what the standard procedures would be having learned that an individual was drinking at a bar?
It doesn't matter. It's going to be objected to because this is all thoughts and speculation. See, this is why this guy is such a horrible attorney, and this guy's a horrible witness, because he witnessed nothing. All he did is look at it from the outside. He was armchair quarterbacking. It would be like having me come in and testify on the stand in front of the court, getting paid for me to come and testify in this case that I didn't do anything except for watch the interviews. I mean, it's pointless and irrelevant.
Standard procedure would be to send a detective to the bar, interview the employees of the bar, find out how much the Cleeremans had to drink, what their attitude or their disposition was when they left, check for any video, because you want to determine whether they had, whether they would be affected by what they had to drink.
Okay. And did you find that to have occurred in this case?
No, no one ever
No.
went back to the bar.
Why would they have
find
to?
out how much they had to drink, what their disposition was when they left the bar.
Now, had that occurred, is there normally some type of report or something that's normally documented in?
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony.
If it had occurred, it should be in a report. If everything that an officer does
How'd he
during
get
the
it?
investigation
He
should
answered the question. He's not testifying.
Hang on. What's the objection?
He's testifying in the narrative again. It's just paragraphs. I'd like it to be in response to a question, please.
There you go.
Overruled.
I mean, Browski is just like, come on, dude. He's about to throw down the hammer on this guy.
But let's just keep it moving, please.
You can continue.
No, it's just everything that an officer does in
Everything.
an investigation should be in a report, and it's well known in police procedure that if there's no report, then it didn't happen. And that's the way you approach these investigations.
It's just like, tell me, Mr. Burns. Tell me, Ricky Burns. You know, there's no proof of you giving little Hummers to, to a dog before you showed up here, right? Right? We don't have that on tape, Mr. Burns. You didn't have a dog humping your face, nothing like that. No. So, are you saying it didn't happen because it wasn't reported on? I mean, it's just like, really, dude? I mean, whenever he's trying to throw shade on the things that the cops didn't research or didn't look into. It doesn't change what happened that night with this guy getting deleted. Doesn't matter how much he had to drink. Doesn't matter what he did. He's still not alive. It was still the responsibility of Edgecomb. That's why it's important. All this right here, trying to throw reasonable doubt.
Okay. And are there any other issues that you found in this case?
Well, again, back to Mrs. Cleereman, there should have been a reenactment where
Well, prosecution tears him up. I mean, they tear him up so fast.
she's taken to the location where the traffic incident happened, and you note that location, you get an address. Then the location where the punch occurred, you note that location, you get an address, and then you.
Right. Now it would be one thing. Absolutely. It's useless information in your opinion. Now, the only way that it would be good information is if he came forward and said, listen, I went back, I recovered this video of how much the Cleeremans had been drinking. Cleeremans were clearly inebriated. Miss Cleereman says that she only had a couple of drinks, but obviously, according to this video, she had 30 drinks. She shouldn't have been behind the wheel. Her husband had 100. He shouldn't have been behind the wheel. All of this could have been avoided had they not done this. I mean, something like that, anything like that. But no, he's got nothing. He's coming in with speculation.
You take measurements from the distance from the traffic incident to the punch, the traffic incident to the shooting, and the punch to the shooting, so that you have a perspective of what occurred.
Okay. And did you find that to have occurred in this case?
No, I did not.
Didn't matter.
And how can that potentially affect an investigation or the understanding of what took place when you don't have that?
It gives you an idea of a spatial perspective, how far apart each perspective.
What?
It also gives you
Spatial?
a time perspective. How long would it take from the accident or the traffic incident to the punch and then the shooting?
Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Burham, what is another issue that you found?
Well, again, back to Mrs. Cleereman, I would have asked why they followed Mr. Edgecomb. What was their intention? Were they upset when they followed him?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All of this does not matter. It's like going, dude rear-ended me. Okay, so he rear-ended you and totaled out your car. All right. Well, let's trace it back to what was his state of mind whenever he got in his car. You know, it doesn't matter. Those things don't matter. All that matters is at that moment, during that instance, that's all that matters.
Why didn't they turn left, which would have taken them home, instead of turning right in pursuit of?
Well, Edgecomb is trying to claim self-defense. He's trying to say that this guy attacked him and he was defending himself, and then he ran because he was afraid that the police wouldn't see it that way. No, dude ran because he knew that he wasn't supposed to be there with a firearm. He was hoping to get away. He was hoping to get away from all of this. Once they identified him, it made it even harder for him. He wanted to go into hiding. That's all that matters. Sort of. Here's where it gets a little bit tricky. So, although he had the punch, the fact that Mr. Cleereman pursued him, the self-defense goes away. And let me explain. And this is something that other attorneys have said. So if you're in a bar fight, and at that moment you're in a bar fight with somebody, you pull out a knife because you're getting beat and you happen to delete them. Okay. That would be considered self-defense. Now, same bar fight. You're losing, you go out to your car, you get a shotgun, you come back in and you delete them. No longer can you claim self-defense. Now, if you go out to your car and you get a shotgun, you come back in and that guy deletes you, he could claim self-defense, even though he was beating you in the fight in the first place. That makes sense? Yeah, it's a little weird. Yeah, how can some people take someone's life? I don't know. I really don't know. If you're being attacked, the pain that would come along with having to do that, I mean, at what point do you find yourself making jokes about it because the pain is real? You would be having, yeah, that'd be premeditated. You could argue that, yeah.
Of Mr. Edgecomb. Just to give you an idea what state of mind they were in, was there any conversation
Doesn't
other
matter.
than we should follow him? Was there any conversation as
Doesn't
to,
matter.
well, what are we going to do when we catch up with him?
Doesn't matter.
And you didn't find that to have occurred in this case, Mr. Burrows?
No, not at all.
Doesn't matter.
What other issues did you find?
Well, Mrs. Cleereman went through her husband's pockets after this.
Your Honor.
Objection, Your Honor.
You can. What other issues did you find, Mr. Burrows?
The report lists the locations of several video cameras that stretch over a couple of blocks. And some of the businesses were closed. But each camera that is listed in these reports, there should have been follow-up to go back to those locations to check any footage that was on those cameras in relation to this incident. And if there was no footage, then it should be noted that these cameras were checked, but there was no footage. But certainly,
Doesn't matter. Maybe it was. You didn't read all of the reports. This is what I'm saying. They're going to tear him apart on the cross.
that is a major concern in this investigation, that those cameras were never
Just have
checked.
some water, Cynthia.
Okay, so you're saying that there's a certain type of report that's normally filled
Just
out
like a firefighter.
as it relates to
Always need more water.
seeing if potential camera footage is available?
No.
Yes, it's just a supplementary report, the basic reports that was filed on every aspect of this investigation. An officer or detective should have been assigned that task, and they should have set about that task, and whatever results they got, they should have.
This right here is Ricky Burrows. He is a defense investigator. Okay, he works at a college. No, he was a cop a long time ago. He's actually a security guard at a college now. Yeah. He didn't work the case. He works for the defense as an investigator. 24 to 48 hours, but other than that, okay. Oh, that sucks, Tammy. I hate that for you.
Have noted it in the report and made it part of the investigatory file.
So if an officer goes and looks for potential video and they don't find it, whose ultimate responsibility it is to ensure that and notate that actually has occurred and that it was thorough and impartial?
Well, in a homicide investigation, you have the initial investigation and involving the detectives and involving the officers. After that, there's a meeting or a briefing, and in that briefing, you determine what has been done and what has not been done and what needs to be done.
Well, no shite. Really? You just now figured this out, homie? No, here's the problem. He's only reviewed a portion of the tapes. He hasn't reviewed every single thing. So he's coming in criticizing the police. Hey, Indigo. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hello, hottie. How you doing? Yeah, he's coming in after the fact, criticizing the police for the job that they did. That's what his job is to do, is to criticize the police for the job that they did. That's all his job is. It doesn't change any bit of it.
And everything that has not been done, probably a detective will be assigned to do something like those cameras because it's such an important part of the investigation. And it will be the detective's job to check the footage, write the report, and make a supervisor aware.
All right, so here's the thing. If they already have a video camera that catches one portion of it, and you have a clear view all the way down, so picture this. You've got a string of buildings all the way across, and each one of them has a camera. Every 25 feet, there's a camera facing out towards the road. And one camera covers 50 feet of area. Okay? You don't have to go back and get every single camera's footage if you already have a clear picture of everything that happened. If you have a clear picture of a car driving by and nothing happening, why would you include that? Why would you include anything extra? Why would you include that 50 times? This is the defense's way of getting them to show the tape one more time so they can ride through it and does nothing. And it's ad nauseum because, you know, the Edgecomb's attorney, Shamalama Dingalinga Bing Bam, he can't come up with a good defense for this. His defense is racism. That is his defense. That's it. That's his defense. Racism. It's rough.
That this follow-up has been done, and if it has not been done, a supervisor should be monitoring the progress on this assignment.
Mr. Dick Burns
to
sounds as
ensure
really as
that
Attorney
it has
Banks
been done. And sometimes an investigation or a follow-up like that will have to take course over a few days, but it has to be done.
Now, did you see that type of follow-up, as you described, take place over a course of a few days in this case?
No, I did not.
Now, Mr. Brown, are there other issues that you found as part of your review?
Well,
Yeah, I
I
was
think
trying to
one
be
of the
nice
major
about Dick
issues
Burns.
that I found was that when you investigate these incidents, you have to be thorough and you have to be objective. You have to look at aspects of every aspect of the investigation. And one of the most troubling things that I saw was a witness was made available, and the detective involved just declined to interview that witness. And if I can just give an analogy, in these investigations.
No, we don't need an analogy. Here's the thing. You're a witness. Don't give an analogy. If you're having to give an analogy, that means your attorney is not giving good questions. So this guy is going to ramble and ramble and ramble. You have muscle spasms in your legs, upper and back, and I know what you're going through, Tammy. Yes. Yeah. That's right. Get nice and wet, Cynthia. Nice and wet. Moisten it up. Just get it as wet as you can. And
Don't be dry, baby.
that's right. Don't be dry. Don't ever be dry, Cynthia. He is not an expert. Yes. I know. But see, I that's the best part about doing the catch-ups on Monday. Ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise. Oh yeah. He knows how to spill the first part of analogy. Yep. Analology.
are like a jigsaw puzzle, and every aspect is a piece. And if one piece of that puzzle is missing, it affects the whole picture. So that's why you have to cover every aspect. You have to be very creative, very resourceful, cover every aspect of these
Or
investigations.
you can make up shit like this guy is.
Now, as it relates to, we talked a little bit about video. Were you able to see any video evidence as it relates to the bar where the Cleeremans would have left from, as indicated in the report you reviewed?
No,
No, there was no
reports
recording.
indicating that anyone had even gone back to the bar to interview witnesses.
Sustained.
Objection. Relevance.
Mr. Burham, any other issues that you noticed in this
Mr. Dick
investigation?
Burns.
May I review my notes, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, please review your notes because you're an idiot.
One issue, and again, this goes back to Mrs. Cleereman. She
Oh, there you go. So Zim was elected mayor, Carl vice mayor. Nice. Meeting was amazingly calm once Dawn threw a tantrum and walked out. Yeah, that happens. Technically, Dad's no longer on council because he didn't get sworn in he left before that could happen. Oh, yeah. Don, yeah. Don, I got you. The attorney doesn't ask questions confidently. Well, because the attorney is trying to make this a race thing. He's leaving it open for interpretation. Oh, just wait until this guy gets crossed because he gets
he's telling
red-roamed.
the detective that she and her husband have been at a bar, and then when they leave the bar, she almost hits a bicyclist, and
But that wasn't the chain of events. I mean, what he's saying is true, but that wasn't the chain of events. Chain of events is they left the bar, they're driving down the road, they've gone quite a distance, and a guy that's crossing streets sideways, left ways, he's riding down the middle of the road going the wrong way, almost gets hit because they can't see him. Dude yells out, "Dude, watch out." Or, "What the heck?" Probably said, "What the F?" I would have used probably some, words like moron or some crap like that. Wife managed to avoid hitting him and continued on her way. Well, he didn't like that. He took offense to it, turned his bike around, rode down there, reached through the window, punched the guy out, and then proceeded to take off again. And whenever the Cleeremans followed him, he jumped off his bike and pulled a firearm out and deleted him from about me to this camera. The dude went down immediately, and then he went on the run. Adrenaline from the storms in Iowa has worn off. Yeah, get some rest. Because those storms did not look pretty.
during the investigation, there's an open intoxicant found in the rear of the Cleerman's vehicle, and
it's not relevant to this case. How is it relevant? How is it relevant? It's in the rear. It is sitting in the back. It is nowhere within hand's reach.
as dark as this may sound, I would have given her an intoxilizer test to determine whether or not she was intoxicated or impaired.
Test.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained. I'm striking that. And let me see the lawyers.
Oh boy. Like, is this guy going to go on like this? Oh yeah. B. Ivory Lamar, you are an idiot. Travis should have used a mic since he had two in his truck. Yeah, Roxanne, if you said that you could hear people typed in all caps and said that your devices are bad, then you were.
All right, I had a conversation with the lawyers. There's no evidence in this case that there was an open intoxicant in the vehicle. That can be clarified by defense counsel or the state on cross, but that answer is stricken based on the testimony.
Yeah. No open intoxicant in the vehicle. That answer is stricken.
Only thus far, no one has testified that there was a, quote, open intoxicant. There's been conversations about a can and something that was in the back door, the back seat. Let's move
rough,
on.
Tim.
That answer is stricken. Next question.
Mr. Brown,
Do you think he got any corn? Maybe a couple of strip joints in Iowa? Just curious. Inquiring turtles want to know. Oh yes. Good night forever. Get some rest. Some towns have a lot of damage. I'm very thankful your friends and family are safe. Good night. Definitely. You get some rest forever. Not me. Get some rest.
after your full review of the investigation of files in this case, any other failures that you've noticed of the investigation in this case?
In regards to the knife in Mr. Cleereman's pocket, I would have, I think a DNA sample should have been taken. I think a standard should have been taken.
Why? Why should have a DNA sample been taken? That is completely pointless. Completely pointless. So, should they have taken a DNA sample of his socks, his shoes, his wallet? How about his belt? Maybe they should have taken a DNA swab off of his ween. I mean, this guy is an idiot.
From Mrs. Cleereman in regards to any anything in a car that possibly affected this incident, DNA should have been taken from that too.
And why is
No, that's a waste of resources right there. A waste of resources for no reason. Hey, Ingrid, how is it going? Good to see you. Sorry you're late. No, you're not late at all. You are here right on time, exactly when you needed to be here. There is no being late here at all. You're not late. You're right on time.
that important?
Just to give you a full objective picture of what's going on.
And
Yeah.
strike that. Is there
Yeah.
anything else that you learned in reviewing?
Well, there were two witnesses who worked at a restaurant who gave an account of this incident. I would have asked them if they had discussed this incident with each other or with anybody else, because sometimes witnesses can influence each other's accounts
No,
or statements.
objection,
So
Your Honor.
I would have just asked them just to clarify that.
You didn't see that question being asked as part of your review?
No, I did not.
Okay. Anything
They
else that
didn't
you
need
found?
to.
And another thing is that when you are getting witness accounts and they tell you what they saw, you want to see what their perspective. If they were across the street, you want to go to where they were and look towards the scene to see if they could actually see what they told you that they saw, just to make sure that their account is accurate.
And did you see that having occurred in this case?
No, I did not.
Anything else, Mr. Burrows?
No.
All right, thank you for your testimony.
You're welcome.
Cross.
Oh, this guy's going to get nailed to
Did
the
you review all the
wall.
police reports?
Everything that was available to me, but I can
That
say
was my
that
question.
One at a time.
Did you review all the police reports?
all the police reports that were made available to me, I reviewed.
If I'm understanding this, you are now testifying as to what constitutes a good or bad investigation only on what the defense gave you. Is that correct? Yes or no?
It's a yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. And in your opinion as to what should or should not have happened, did you ask them for any other reports?
No.
So you were willing to sit here and talk about what you just testified to and base your opinion only on what they cherry picked for you. Is that correct?
No.
Yes. Yeah. This guy is, yeah, dear Lord. Yeah, this guy is going to nail him to the wall. I told you, this guy gets destroyed. Sure, they could have dropped 10, 15K on DNA testing. It proves what? We have a video of Edgecomb catching him. We have a video of Edgecomb shooting him. We aren't looking to identify him. Right. Oh yeah, mic drop. This guy nails him to the damn wall. Because he's saying, you're only testifying to what they cherry picked, what they showed you. Did you read all the Did you read all of the police reports? No, I only read what they offered me. did you read all the police reports? He's very specific on what he's asking, because the police reports, if he didn't read all the police reports and he's only reading what defense gave him, then he didn't read all the police reports, which means, how does he know that they didn't do a DNA test on it? Because the defense never sent him those documents. Hey, Dirksy, how's it going? Dirksy. I don't know. It sounds sexy to me, but whatever.
Oh, so you didn't ask anything more? You didn't ask if there was maybe a report or something else that maybe they didn't give you? Is that a yes or no? Did you ask for anything else?
No.
Okay.
And there's the smile. There's the smug smile of you just got your ass handed to you. And he knows it. He knows it. He was so eager to start to nail him. Yeah. The only thing that happens, Catherine, is a world full of selfishness. It is sad.
Okay. Did you watch the body cams in this video?
One of them.
One.
One body cam. Out of all of the dozens of police officers, you watched one body cam. One
Body cam.
Yes.
Who chose that body cam?
The defense.
The defense did. So if we have a state's exhibit that has body cams from several officers going, to the scene, walking up, talking to video, talking to people at a door and finding out that the Ring camera did not record, you never saw that, did you?
No, I did not.
You only saw one body cam that the defense asked you to take a look at. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Because that's the one they wanted you to talk about, right? You know what?
Yeah, he's going to rephrase it because he's like, yeah, this is the look of a guy that's just going, you got any pudding pops? Give me a pudding pop. I will make sure that you forget we even talked about this. Okay.
I'll phrase that question. You probably can't speculate as to their motives.
No, I can't.
I want to ask about your motives. Did you ever ask for any other body cam?
No, I did not.
Oh.
Did you ever sit there and say, you know what, in order for me to truly determine whether or not these officers in a record-setting homicide year did everything, I want to watch all their body cam. Did you ever do that?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Whoa.
You said you saw some of the photos. Did you look at all the scene photos?
I looked at what was made available to me.
So you don't even know if it's...
It's just no. Here's the thing with some people. Whenever they are getting like destroyed, this is the look of a man losing all credibility, being destroyed by the prosecution, and he knows he is. He knows that everything that because he's not allowed to lie on the stand. Because if he lies, they're going to call it out. They're going to pull it out of him, and they are going to use that against him in the worst kind of way. They will make him look so incredibly ignorant. The reason why he's smiling is because he's going, I'm screwed. That is a look of a man, his soul. Yep. Fight or flight instinct to see ya.
all the scene photos, do you?
No, I do not.
Did you listen to the 911 calls?
I listened to one of them.
One.
Was it again do you know there's 3 911 calls?
Yes, I do.
And you chose to listen to one?
Yes.
Because that's the one they chose for you, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And they
What about
give you
the
a
others?
911 call, you don't ask any other questions, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
What about your investigation skills there, homie?
So I just want to be very clear so that I'm understanding this. All of your opinions that you have just testified to have been based upon solely reports they chose, a body cam they chose, a 911 call that they chose, photos they chose, and not the entire investigation in this case. Am I right?
No, you're wrong.
I'm wrong. So you are basing your decision on the entire investigation without watching all the body cams?
That is correct.
Okay. So you feel that you can, based on what they cherry pick, still come to a conclusion.
Oh, you want to talk about some cherry picking? We're going to pick some cherries right now.
Down. Paper? Unbreaded.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
We got a cherry right here. How you doing, doll?
Hello.
You doing okay?
I'm doing good.
This guy is getting just destroyed on the defense. It's so beautiful.
I was trying to listen and then I got interrupted with
Oh, you're
nonsense,
fine.
but
Yeah, his name is Dick Burns or Ricky Burns.
oh. Okay, we'll stick with Ricky.
Yeah, that's why he does too. He is getting destroyed because so far they've pulled out of him that they have gotten all of his investigation has been by what the defense provided to him and nothing beyond that. He only listened to one 911 call, only watched one body cam, only saw the reports that they gave him, the defense gave him. And he's criticizing the police department on the job that they did investigating.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I said, this guy's just getting destroyed. Oh, yeah. And it was made very clear throughout the trial that this guy was a complete joke.
Conclusion as to the entire investigation.
Based on the reports, yes.
Okay, yes, based on the reports. For example, 830 West, 830, there was a ring camera. Do you remember that in the report?
I would have to review the reports.
Okay, and if the report doesn't mention this, but the body cam shows that the officers actually went there and found out that it didn't record, you'd be unaware of that, wouldn't you?
May I expound?
No, you may answer the
You'd be
question.
unaware.
No.
Mr. Hubner,
I apologize. for
answer
May I
the question, sir. It's
expound?
a yes or no question that requires a yes or no answer.
Yes, I will be unaware of that.
Okay, and if you were to watch the body cam, you didn't watch the body cam of Officer Manisha Howard, did you?
No, I did not.
You didn't see how
'cause there was
Officer
just
Manisha
one
Howard
officer.
sat there in Casablanca watching video backwards in an attempt to find all the possible segments of which the defendant is on the scene?
No, I did not.
You didn't see how on the body cam she worked with the people at Casablanca who have access to cameras down Brady Street and she watched to see if she could find anything?
No, I did not.
You didn't watch how after being at Casablanca, she gets into her car and goes the next block over to see if she can find any video that she could recover?
No, I did not.
Okay. And you didn't know that all of this happened the very next day, did you?
No, I did not.
Did you see the report where Detective Washington talks about receiving the Casablanca video from her and her partner?
No, I did not.
So when you're talking about how there should be reports about the ongoing next couple days where video is being withdrawn, you said you didn't see them. Yes. Here's a report you didn't see, right?
Which one are you referring to?
I'm talking about Detective Michael Washington's report, how the very next day after the homicide, two officers, or at least one officer, Officer Krause, went to Casablanca and obtained video. Did you see that report?
No, I did not.
So when you were testifying that you should have seen reports about people securing video later, is that because nobody showed you that one?
Oh.
May I expound?
Is it because no one showed you that one? They're going to be able to get you to expound on all the stuff that they did later. I want
Yeah.
to concentrate on this.
No, I didn't.
Can you
No,
answer the
it's
question?
cross-examination. As you know, you've testified hundreds of times. It's a yes or no answer, yes or no.
Thank you, Tammy.
Oh, this guy is such an idiot. Oh my God. See, I love that. Rosalind, you have such a beautiful smile.
Thank you.
You do. You have a wonderful smile.
Well, thanks.
I'm gonna bring your volume up just a little bit so everybody can hear.
Oh, is
you.
it? Do I need to turn it up?
No, I got you.
Okay.
Got you. You were just on auto, and so I just grabbed it and turned it up a little bit in
Okay.
case I'm overpowering everyone, because I tend to do that.
All right.
He's so frustrated because just like I can destroy you like 10 ways to Sunday, and I'm like, you're like low hanging fruit. You're a waste of space, a waste of this court space. Quit simping on Ross.
What did he look at?
He only looked at what the defense gave him to look at. So that he could come in and say, no, I only reviewed this, and this. Like he doesn't talk about the hours of time that they spent at Casablanca reviewing to see how much they had to drink. And that's on an officer's body cam. He doesn't talk about all of the ring cams that they pulled up or any of the reports that went along with it. He was only given what the defense wanted him to see. This is a common tactic with people like B. Ivory Lamar, because they're race baiters. Like they only look at what they want to create the narrative that they need without looking at the case as a whole. So if he would have looked at it as a whole, there's ways that he could have like presented and done good for his client. But because his goal is not about P. Ivory, is not about Edgecomb. That is not his goal. His end all goal is Edgecomb is a pawn. His greater scheme is to bring down the white man that has been holding down the black man forever. Like, this was a race-based attack. And Mr. Edgecomb just happened to be defending himself. Think about what happened with Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse shot 4 black men, crossed state lines with a firearm,
Right.
and attacked all these black men during Black Lives Matter protests. So he leaves out the fact that no, it wasn't. And
None of
no, it
them
wasn't.
were black.
None of them were black, and no, he did not cross state lines illegally. But he leaves all of those things out. This is what causes people to get upset over no reason. Like, if you show the truth is what the truth is. And this is why he's getting destroyed. Like by a large mansion.
Just another thing. We're talking about this is a homicide investigation at the time. Officers and detectives had no idea who the suspect were at the time, that night, did they?
No.
And in fact, are you aware of how detectives spent a considerable amount of resources attempting to find the flight path of this defendant?
Yes, I am aware of that.
They went to Rat Finks. Did you see that? Finks? Did you see that bar video?
I didn't see the video, but
You
I
saw the
am.
report?
I believe so.
Okay. What about across the street, Bel Air Cantina? Did you see that?
A report regarding that?
Yes.
I would have to
Okay.
look at the report.
And if this were officers and detectives following, going literally store by store, trying to find a possible escape route that this shooter had just taken, that would comply with looking for video, wouldn't it?
That's right, CJ.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
No.
No, it would. So you don't believe looking for video where they're attempting to find the flight path of someone who just shot someone in the face is important?
It is important.
Okay. So they did that in this case, right?
Get
Yes.
some rest.
Okay.
man.
And then even a little bit beyond that, on the bike path on UWM, they went and found video there. Do you remember seeing that?
I believe so.
Okay. And then when the individual pops up on Locust Street, they found that video. Do you remember seeing that?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember seeing how they developed and did a search warrant in an attempt to find the suspect?
Yes.
Okay. So detectives spent a significant amount of time attempting to find somebody who had just shot and killed someone in the street. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And are you aware of the fact, you're talking about interviewing of witnesses, did you see Rotrell Cameron's 911 call or the body cam of his interview?
I saw the report in regards to his 911 call.
Okay. What about when he speaks to the officer over the phone?
I believe I saw that report too. I would have to look again, but I believe I saw that.
Okay. And sometimes body cam can provide even a little bit more than what's in the report, right?
Absolutely.
For example, Rotrell Cameron told the officer that what he just saw was cold-blooded. That wasn't in the report, but it was on the body cam, wasn't it?
I didn't see the body cam.
And you didn't ask to see the body cam,
No, I did not.
because you only saw the body cam that they gave.
Yes.
Okay.
You take care also. You take care also.
And to
Well, and here's the thing. Dumb cops, honest prosecutor. Hello, Brandon. No, this is just an investigator. He used to be a cop a long time ago, and now he works as a security guard at a college or some crap like that. So this guy up on the stand is their lead investigator. And he's not investigating what happened. He's investigating how corrupt the cops were at this particular moment. That they were basing this all because he was a black man. They were hunting down the black man. No, they were trying to find the person that shot someone in cold blood at point blank range. That's what they were trying to find.
Wow.
And time is of the essence because this guy is on the run. They traced him down. They had a warrant for him, but he was already on his way to Georgia by the time they arrived at his place.
Where's court?
This is in what is it, Waukesha? Or in that same area. Wherever
Wisconsin?
Waukesha is. Yeah, Wisconsin. This is in Wisconsin. Thank you. Wisconsin. Yeah. And Borowski is a badass.
To be clear, as we're going through the reports, the officers were told by Ms. Cleereman that it had happened, this first swerving incident had happened a block east or east of Casablanca. Is that correct?
That's one statement that she gave them, but there's also another one.
What was the statement? Do you have proof of that? Did you see both statements?
Well, I don't know why he gets that little grin on his face before he talks. Is that just a tick? Is that a tick with him?
It's nervousness because he knows that he's been gotten.
Okay.
You know, this is whenever you're just like, yeah, I'm losing here, you know, I'm just going to grin and bear it because he's being completely destroyed.
She stated to Detective Rodolfo Alvarado that it happened one block east of Casablanca. Isn't that correct?
That's one statement that she gave them, but there's
Is that
another
a yes or
account.
no?
No.
She did not say that to Detective Rodolfo Alvarado.
Yes, she did.
She did.
Oh,
And
so he
you're
can't answer a
because
question.
you never watched Officer Howard's body cam or looked at Detective Washington's report, you're not aware of the extensive efforts that the officers spent on trying to find that on that block east of Casablanca, are you?
No, I'm not.
One moment, Judge.
Yes, they would have handled this the same way. Had it been white man, black man, Hispanic, Asian, it wouldn't have mattered. They would have handled it all the same way. They would have pursued this suspect. Now, if he wouldn't have run and he would have stayed there, more than likely he would have had a bigger chance of saying self-defense. You know, and as much as it sucks, you know, he wasn't supposed to have a firearm. He was out on bond for attacking his wife that is now his wife. I guess they got married while he was in prison. But she pressed charges on him because he has violent behavior. And they're not allowed to bring all of this in.
Right.
Unless he brings
404.
it in first. Yeah. It's just like, oof.
And sir, I want to make sure I have this correct here. You're testifying as to what you're saying is an incomplete investigation, based solely on what one party gave you, without asking for any additional information.
That's correct.
Never wanted to know if there was maybe a report they failed to give you, right?
No.
Never wanted to know if maybe they were holding something back from you that might affect whether or not you thought it was a good investigation?
No.
Never entered your mind?
No.
Not once?
No.
You know that there's tons of body cam, they give you one, never occurs to you to think, maybe I should watch the rest of it?
No.
No.
You know there's multiple 911 calls, never occurs to you to think, man, maybe just for purposes of being thorough, like I'm accusing other people of not, I should listen to everything.
Yes or no?
Yeah, does it occur?
No. No.
Okay.
Wow. Wow.
He just got up there and accused everybody of not being thorough.
And then he
And
hasn't done anything.
He hasn't done anything.
And he just smirks about it. That's
Yes.
wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Because he knows he just got hammered. Man, Englishman, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. You guys, Bad Duck and Debbie, you guys are awesome. Bubble Town. He's like,
Nothing else, thank you.
nothing else,
Defense.
thank you.
Mr. Burrows, the state just questioned you about your review of the file as it relates to body cam video, correct?
That's correct.
Is there a way to determine an opinion in the accuracy of an investigation outside of watching hundreds of hours of video?
Yes, there is.
Can you please
No.
explain to the members of the jury the other way that you can come
Explain to me. Because this is going to be hilarious. I'm sorry. So he just accused the cops of not being thorough because they didn't investigate enough.
Right.
All right. Then the prosecutor says, well, you definitely didn't investigate enough. According to you, you didn't see this, you didn't see that, you didn't see this, you didn't see this, you didn't see this, you didn't investigate enough. Now, his attorney gets back up on redirect and says, is it possible to make a conclusion that they didn't investigate enough?
I mean, it's possible. Just not here. That's crazy.
It's for me, but not for you.
Yeah.
It's like,
Wow.
oh, Jesus.
to a conclusion based off of the sufficiency and adequacy of the investigation without having to watch hundreds of hours of body cam footage?
And there he is again. With the
It's
grin. You got me.
You got me. Well, if you would have provided it to me, I probably could have investigated a little bit more. Just saying.
He just reminds me of like a kid with his hand in the cookie jar. So he's like, yeah.
Do you have any pudding pops? That's all I want to know. I've got something for you. Here, I brought some pudding pops for the jury, so you won't pay attention to what Rudy's doing over there.
The reports. Everything that happens in an investigation should be in the reports. And that was my primary source of information in regards to this incident, is reading the reports that were made available to me.
There it is. The reports that were made available to me. So if the defense didn't provide him all the reports, then he didn't do a thorough job. If he didn't ask for the rest of the reports, do they not exist? Or maybe you should have done your effing job and investigated. Wonder why you're a security guard at a college now and not a cop anymore.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to be mean.
I'd like to see another case with this prosecutor. He did a great job with this trial. I'd like to see him in a case with something approximating a competent defense team opposing him. I would too, because I like the prosecutor. I mean, and I'm not big on prosecutors that overexert themselves, but he's not having to. He's just bringing the facts of the case and asking the questions as he should. I mean, the guy is amazing. I'm just like, why couldn't someone like Rittenhouse had a guy like this going up against him? Because he would have never asked those dumb questions.
Oh, right. Yeah, no,
He probably wouldn't have even brought the case. He would have looked at it and gone, yeah, this is stupid and ridiculous.
I mean, that was Charles Dickens, that trial. I mean,
Yes.
just everything kind of fell into place.
Don't start. Come on. That's all you can afford, Mad Englishman. Damn it.
Through the defense and through the police department.
Now, when you speak about reports, is one of those reports named like a supplemental report?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not showing you what is being marked as defense exhibit number, Dina.
I do object to the tie with that shirt, though.
Yeah, it is pretty taggy. What? Okay.
When was this case?
This was a couple of years ago.
Okay, because the mask, I was just like, really?
Yeah, this was after Rittenhouse.
Okay.
That gives you, and not too long after Rittenhouse, there was some big hoopla about this. There was a bunch of people that were going hard at Borowski, saying that he was racist, that he is attacking the black man, all this kind of stuff. And just, I mean, it was, they wanted him to recuse himself. I mean, it was like racially charged case.
Well, that was the narrative du jour at the time.
Well, because according to defense, the reason why he punched him and shot him was because the guy that got shot and deleted was racist. He called him the N-word. That was what they kept saying. He called him the N-word. So that was a reason to delete the man. And then whenever his wife gets up there, that is clearly not white.
Oh.
It sort of shattered all their hopes and dreams to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, someone you look at the mark as denied. I want you to take a look at that and let us know, is that one of the documents you believe that the defense showed to you?
According to B. Ivory
Yes.
Lamar, it is.
And what does that report indicate?
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Stand.
Yep.
Mr. Burns, is your testimony that there was inadequate follow-up with specific locations, in this case, based off of a supplemental report such as what you have in your hand?
Yes.
It's a supplemental report. Did you read the report? If you're basing it off of a supplemental report, base it off of the report that you had access to, but you didn't look at. You know, this is
So he did have access to this report.
he had access only to this report. He didn't have access to, he had access to all the other reports too, but this is the only thing that the defense gave him was a supplemental report. They didn't give him the full report.
Gotcha.
Because if he would have had to review the full report, review all of the body cam footage, all that would have cost in the hundreds of thousands of dollars for him to review all of it. What
But
happened.
it's also bad for their case if he reviews them. So.
Well, it wouldn't matter if he did or not. It costs money. And B. Ivory is all about the book. This is all about money. This has nothing to do with getting this guy off. This is making money for B. Ivory Lamar.
Okay.
Because
That's
were
the defense attorney.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. If you watch him, you'll understand this guy is all about money. That's all it is. He is all fluff and show. You know, he shows up with a really expensive suit, puffed out, chest puffed out, got his gold watch, got his gold rings. He's good to go.
Sort of like the Fly attorney.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
How is this guy a lawyer? Well, and the thing is he was brought in by this guy over here, Mr. Half Bald. He is the lead attorney.
Mr. Half Bald?
Yes, he is half bald in the weirdest way. It's creepy baldness. Yeah, he's got like this big bald spot hair and he has this really bad comb over and it's just and he sucks. B. Ivory Lamar came in here because it's all about the money. All about the money. That's why B. Ivory is there. Money, 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 money. Race baiting makes tons.
We would now like to move Defense Exhibit D9 into evidence.
Your Honor, objection to it.
I'm not dealing with that now. We'll take it up outside the presence of the jury. Right now, denied.
Yeah.
Next question. Mr. Brahms, is there any other reports where they are summary in nature upon which you based your opinions today on?
Just the reports that,
Jack
the reports that were made available to me and also the reports that were not written.
Now,
Wait, what?
Mr. Brahms, is it true that all critical information that's pertinent to a case is supposed to be inside of a narrative report?
That is correct.
And is the purpose of a narrative report to save time so that you don't have to look over voluminous information or footage?
It doesn't matter. Did you look at the footage? It was available to you. It's giving you a summary of what the police found. So, all right. Whenever somebody, whenever you watch a movie, for example, a movie, let's take something that's really long and drawn out and has a lot of walking in it. Lord of the Rings. Okay.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings, if you watch all of the movies back to back, you're looking at 12 hours of a movie.
Right.
Now, if you read every single book for Lord of the Rings, it is going to take you months to read because the amount of information, the detail that's provided there. So that movie is a summary of what happened in the movie. It gets you from point A to point B. It doesn't tell you every single finite detail. It doesn't put you in the moment of being able to smell every single little thing because it's summarized down visually.
And the summary can be summarized to a particular narrative and subjective.
Correct. But in this case right here, if you're wanting to investigate it, you have to look at all of the stuff. You don't look at the summary and base your opinion off of a summary of somebody else's summary. Does that make sense?
Right. Oh yeah. Right.
Like
tell me more.
Yeah, if you want me to explain to you Lord of the Rings, then I would suggest reading the entire book. If you want an idea of what Lord of the Rings is all about, watch the movies. That gives you like it's close enough.
Right.
You get an idea of where it goes. Yeah, you get all the cliff notes. I love the background sound of your patters on the floor and screens of bad duck.
Oh, duck.
Oh, jeez.
The purpose of a narrative report is to describe everything that was done at a scene, and it should encompass everything that was done at a scene. So it's called a supplement report, and it should actually include everything that is pertinent to the investigation, even if it's in the video footage.
No, he's incorrect.
Now, Mr. Brown, is one of the videos that you had occasion to see a poll cam that would be 1 minute and 34 seconds in length?
Yes.
Did you find any issues with the amount of video related to that poll cam video that was accessible?
Yes.
Your Honor, this is outside the scope.
Outside the scope, sustained.
Yeah.
The answer's stricken. It's completely outside the scope.
Mr. Burrows,
Getting hammered.
are officers trained to include all important details inside each report that they write?
Yes, they are.
And is there any exception to that rule based off the standard operating procedures of the Milwaukee Police Department?
There's no exception to that rule.
Thank you. No further questions.
State.
Just briefly, you stated your primary source of information in regards to this was the police reports, correct?
Yes.
Because everything should be in them, correct?
Yes.
And you never asked for all of them, correct?
That is correct.
No, thank you.
All right, the witness can step down.
Damn.
Thank you.
Destroyed.
All right, I need to send the jury out for a couple minutes, hopefully 5 or 10 minutes. It's 4:15. I hope to have you back in 5 or 10 minutes, and we'll go to a little before 5, and I'll let you know exactly how we're proceeding. For the next out, who's the defense?
So they're getting escorted out. P. Ivory just looking like he just got his ass handed to him.
Shifty eyes.
Yeah.
All right, the jury's out. Who's the defense? Next witness, and I think we may have to discuss the parameters of that testimony. Mr. Ahmad.
Judge, let me see if we have any other witness outside. Otherwise, yes, we do need to take up the issue with Dr. Black.
Can I run the bathroom while you do that? I drank a lot of
Fine, 5 minutes max.
I drink
Then
a
I
lot
want
of
the lawyers in their
Diet
seats in
Coke.
5 minutes so we can proceed off the record.
It's just like, do you mind if I go take a leak? Because, damn it, this sucks.
The seal has been broken.
Yes, I need to break that seal. Okay, so these are This is about
Hey, Michelle Smock.
about 21 minutes of argument outside of the presence of the court. And this is the arguments that they're going to be making. So if it goes a little bit fast, is because I've sped it up to 1.5. Yes.
All right, back on record on Edgecomb. Who are the defense additional witnesses? Just in order, please.
Judge, so we have Mr. Edgecomb, we have Dr. Black, we have maybe a substitute witness from the medical examiner, which is very short, I imagine 5 or 10 minutes, and potentially Dr. Kelly also 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe one more officer, Detective Kirk Vold, to step in for Detective Clabundi.
Yeah, use the mic, I can't hear you.
Sorry, Judge. So I think we have a total of 5.
Your client, Dr. Black, an officer, and who else?
Medical examiner or the toxicologist. We've subpoenaed them both. We did have contact with both of them. They are available tomorrow morning, and that would be very short. I do think we will wrap up. We'll be done before the lunch hour with our case. But we did, Judge, want to address some issues regarding Mr. Edgecomb's testimony, the number of priors, and a couple of other issues which we put on the record. I think if we could address that now, we can start right away. And I think it would make sense, given that it's 4:30, to let the jury go and for us to just deal with all this until 5.
Is the state, based on what you know right now, anticipating any rebuttal?
Possibly. I don't know, but I did put out notice the possible rebuttal
the
witnesses.
clerk shaking her
there's
head
actually
yes?
more based on what the defense has provided. I don't know how many I've used. I don't think it'd be more than 2 or 3. And I haven't, I'd have to wait to see. As it stands right now, no. But depending on what they bring in tomorrow, possibly.
Fine. All right, I'll bring the jury in. I'll discharge the jury. It's 4:30. We can discuss some of these issues. And I'm going to expect the defense to have all the witnesses lined up and ready to go at 8:30 tomorrow. If the state ends up with rebuttal, I'm going to expect the state to have the rebuttal witnesses ready to go promptly tomorrow. I'm going to tell the jury that we're going to finish certainly with testimony tomorrow, and hopefully the entirety of the case.
Snarl.
Deputy, you can bring him in a minute. So I'll discharge the jury with the thanks of the court and the parties, and then we can discuss a couple of the witness issues.
Pacing makes me crazy.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's 4:30. I used to say 200, but now it's probably 250 or 300 jury trials in my career. And I can tell when a jury's paying attention, and I can certainly tell that you've all been paying attention. So I appreciate that, and the parties appreciate that. Please be back tomorrow again, 8:15 or 8:20, and I'll try to start again as close to 8:30
I expect him to say it again. Go Green Bay.
As possible. I think that's it. If you have any questions, let my bailiff know on the way out. Follow my bailiff out. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Thank you, everybody. Everybody else can remain seated, please, while the jury is out. All right, the jury's been excused. We can discuss the issues. First of all, the parameters of Dr. Black's testimony. We discussed that a bit before lunch. My understanding is that the defense submitted within the last 2 days, Saturday, some video footage or something that was either compiled by Dr. Black or modified or something. The state objected. My concern is it's clearly unfair surprise, as I said before lunch, and I'll hear from both sides briefly, but in looking at this case, the defendant was, and again, the jury's out, the defendant was charged in March. This case has been pending for 10 months. There are at least a dozen motions of limine filed by the defense. We've had 2 separate motion hearings, and here we are 4 or 5 days into a trial, and I find it clearly to be unfair surprise and undue surprise to have a witness testify to something, I'm not clear what, in a video when that was not noticed in the notice of expert testimony. At lunch, I reread the document, related to Mr. Black's testimony, and I will read parts of it into the record, but in no point in time does the defense ever indicate that there'd be video that he would be modifying, testifying to, using, and in fact, there were conversations during the motion hearings regarding what he would testify to, basically that being exposition testimony. And candidly, while my clerk's printing the notice that was sent by the defense, the notice of expert testimony, arguably some of the things that Mr. Black is going to testify to are pretty much in the common knowledge and purview of your average juror.
Yep.
I'm willing to, as I said earlier, allow him to testify with appropriate parameters. I'll hear from the state first. I want to review the document again, and then I'll hear from the defense briefly. And actually, let me hear from the defense. A, I'm not clear what would be offered, and B, I'm not clear why it was given to the state 2 days ago on a weekend, 5 days into a homicide trial, with a defendant that was charged 10 months ago. I mean, that's not the 11th hour. That's middle of the game, fourth quarter. Mr. Ahmad?
He is a football fan.
The state's objection on that, and again, this is not something we had, but just to clarify what it is, it's just an excerpt of the original video, is one file, and it's short and it's played in slow motion, and then the other one is an enhanced version of that just smooths out the corners. We had a different video expert, Mark Robinson, for a video, but this was just something that when I met with Dr. Black in person for the first time, up till now it's all been by Zoom, this was just something that he had done for his own sort of understanding. Now, we never noticed about him testifying as to any events in this case or any facts in this case. It's purely expositional. This is just something that he also has some familiarity and expertise in videos, and so that's just something that he had done internally for his own sake in this case. So as soon as I got the links, I sent that to Attorney Huebner, and I believe he's objecting to that, but just want to clarify, it's a snippet of the original video. It's slow motion, and it's short in length. It's just mostly from the, I believe, both videos in length are maybe less than 30 seconds, and they capture the event from the second video, the pole cam facing Holton, where there's some running that is observed, and the ultimate encounter in the case of the shooting.
Running observed.
Microphone, please.
Yeah. Your Honor, the notice about Dr. Black has been assured to the state many, many times by the defense that he would be testifying only to expositional testimony. When I asked what they meant, they stated he would simply be testifying as to, I guess, hindsight bias and the fact that video captured.
Let me interrupt. I apologize. But I'm not sure if there was an original notice of expert testimony, but the amended notice, which was filed just over a month ago in December, says, and I'm just going to read parts, Dr. Black will testify and explain concepts of hindsight bias and outcome bias. Dr. Black will also testify about factors that affect a person's attention. Later it says he will discuss video evidence and how a two-dimensional representation of a three-dimensional event can be a factor. Going back to there was an original notice of expert testimony, which was filed about 10 days earlier on December 7th. Again, it says paragraph 1, he's going to testify to allegedly an analysis of, I don't even know what this means exactly, but use of force guards against injecting hindsight. 2, a proper review or analysis remaining grounded in evidence.
Oh. B.I. for Lamar must have been a pro se litigant at some point in life. Because
The defense attorney?
yeah. Because this is the kind of shit that a pro se litigant would do. They just bog you down with BS. Like, I had to go down to a pick up documents for a court case. Okay. So this is one that my wife has finally won. It's been going on since 2021. That gives you any idea how long it's been going. Basically, lady being evicted from her house for, breach of contract, not paying back a loan that she took out on the property. Guy owns a house now. They put it in as eviction. Probably shouldn't have done it that way, but that's how it got filed. They lost in magistrate court. She appealed. They won in superior court. The appeal was denied after a period of time. And she's basically has to be out at a certain period of time. She has a certain period of time that she needs to be out. The judge even gave her an opportunity, said, within 30 days of my order, you have to render the amount of money to, pay this loan off, get your house back, see you bye, we'll be done. But there's a year delay between the appeal. So whenever we filed the appeal, there was a year delay before the appeal was denied, or almost a year. So whenever the appeal was denied, even if it started from that moment that it was denied, she still never rendered funds. Never brought the cash. And then she's complaining because, well, they never set up a closing. Well, it's not our job to do that. It's your job to supply the money. You never did that. You didn't do your job. See, by your house is done. Out there. Well, in the process, she filed some exhibits, and then emails my wife, which would be the opposing counsel, of why are you filing things? What did you file? And she's like, I didn't file anything. Well, whenever we went down there, we found out what exactly was filed. It was stuff that she filed that she never sent out service on. And then she continued to file 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different motions after the order was filed. None of them are an appeal. They're just referencing things that mean nothing whatsoever. So yeah, I had to go spend my day picking up these documents and scanning in something like 200 pages of documents into her file.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you think about that, that's 50 cents per document.
Right.
Pages, about 50 cents per page. Yeah. That's what my day was spent doing, because she's an idiot. But it's all a game. And most of her filings are something like motion to quash on the basis of bias because the counsel is a stupid idiot, they're poo-poo pants, they smell funny, and this is like all her filing. So she's got like
the poo-poo
almost,
pants defense.
yeah, whatever it might be. It's just it's so ridiculous.
Perfect.
It was like, lady, and this is the kind of filings that B. Ivory Lamar is doing, because the judge is reading this going, whatever this means, because this, I don't think this means what you think it means. Like,
Right.
This is, you're just making up words and hoping that I understand. You've got no like facts. You've got no case law. You've got no precedent on this. It's just random gobbledygook.
Then it talks again in paragraph 3 about hindsight bias and outcome bias. Then in paragraph 4, it's recognized allegedly when using physical force, decisions occur in a dynamic, rapidly changing situation. Then there's other things about generally videos. Again, some of this I think arguably is in the common knowledge of a juror. For instance, paragraph 6, video recordings do not necessarily represent the observations of the people portrayed in the video. Well, obviously, you have a video on a pole cam that's half a block away that doesn't portray either Mr. Edgecomb or Mr. Cleereman in their ultimately fatal confrontation. It's not a video of either of them standing right behind them when this occurred. So the state can continue, but
Noticed, and we had a discussion about it, was because my concern has been and will always be that I was worried that there would be an attempt to have experts testify as to whether or not something was or was not reasonable, whether or not something was or was not an actual threat or a belief in a threat. Defense counsel assured us, me on the record, and when I objected to it, saying no, this is going to be simply expositional. There wouldn't be any testimony of Dr. Black specifically comparing anything that the defendant or the victim did in this case. That
No, there was no change of venue. It is Milwaukee. Yeah, the crime occurred in Milwaukee. There was no change of venue.
We had no discussion of a breakdown of video or there to be any testimony as to the video. So if you look at what they noticed us on and what I did not object to, there's no reason to play this video because they're talking about it basically in the abstract. The only reason to play this video is an attempt to sit there and point out things in an attempt to subscribe knowledge or intent or reasonableness to one of the parties involved.
Dr. Black can testify. It's been indicated multiple times by the defense what the parameters of that testimony is going to be. It was indicated on the record more than once that it's exposition testimony, period. That's number one. Number two, it's unfair surprise to hand the state something on a weekend, 4 or 5 days into a homicide trial, and then now indicate that an expert is going to testify about a video that he may have modified or manipulated. There's no need for it. The defense has indicated it's exposition testimony. I will allow the exposition testimony that does not connect itself directly to this case. Playing the video obviously would violate what was indicated previously in the notice of expert testimony. It would violate what the defense has indicated to the court. It would be this witness potentially opining on the behavior of the defendant, which is clearly inappropriate. On top of everything else, the video that's being referenced or the parts of the video have been played time and time again. All the reasons are already indicated, and it's cumulative. That testimony related to anything being shown to Mr. Black from any video is not allowed. I'm sustaining the objection. In terms of the defendant,
Or clarification we need on Dr. Black. So I understand it's exposition testimony and there are parameters established based on our notice. The question is, what are the limitations on cross? Because the defense is not prepared to talk about any of the facts in the case, any sort of video, anything relating to use of force, because that's not going to be a subject of his exposition testimony. Then the state shouldn't be allowed to have a wide open cross to start getting into these issues either. But I believe the state believes that it should be able to have a wide open cross and open the door if it wants, and then we can rehabilitate. But we're not prepared to get into that because that's never anything that we've noticed on.
Mr. Gibner.
Your Honor, I plan to cross-examine the witness based on his testimony. I don't know what defense counsel is talking about.
Right, I agree. The state will cross based on the testimony. If the state goes,
He's just
I agree.
He's just sitting there scratching his head like I'm confused because I was listening to what he was saying. It was just like, Well, I just don't want him to cross-examine him on things that he hasn't testified on and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
And
don't,
just like,
don't ask him questions that are bad for us, please.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
And he's going, I don't know. I'm only going to ask him questions on what he testifies. I mean,
Right.
more than likely, I will just clarify his opinions.
In cross-examination, no pun intended, across the line, I'll tell him that and stop it. Let's now discuss the defendant. And I don't know what the state's going to ask on cross. I don't know what the defense is going to ask on direct. I know what my ruling is regarding the testimony. I expect both sides to comply with the court's ruling. There's the issue of the defendant. I'm presuming based on everything the state, right, that the defense has said in their opening and to me multiple times that the defendant is going to testify. So there's a question of the defendant's prior record. It's my understanding from what was discussed earlier that he clearly, apparently, has a carrying concealed weapon conviction. Then there's the fact that the defendant pled guilty a couple of days ago, actually last week, to felony bail jumping and misdemeanor bail jumping. So I'll hear from both sides briefly as to what your position is on number of prior convictions, if and presumably when the defendant testifies. Mr. Huebner?
Your Honor, he's got 3 convictions.
By that I mean CCW, which was when?
Hold on, let me pull that up. I apologize.
3
So the
convictions.
state's position that the answer to that question should be 3. The CCW and the 2 convictions, meaning the bail jumping felony and bail jumping misdemeanor that the defendant pled to a week ago, correct?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Ahmad?
And I can tell, just so the court is aware, and I don't want to misstate anything here, that CCW conviction is in 2000, and it was a 2016 case. The defendant was convicted of that in October 10th of 2017, so 5 years ago.
Mr. Ahmad?
Judge,
CCW is carry concealed weapon.
Right.
so as the court knows, there's a variety of factors the court can look at. So the language under the case law is whether to admit evidence of prior convictions. So how do we interpret prior? I've looked at the case law, Judge. I don't know if prior we're referring to prior to the time he testifies, but I think.
Oh my God. Everything's prior to when he testifies at this point. Here, look at this picture of me when I was younger. Every picture of you is when you were younger.
Yes.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And that's what I'm saying. This attorney, Mr. Baldcap, whatever his name is, I don't know. He is like by far the stupidest attorney of the things that he's asking, the things that he's saying, and it's just like you're scratching your head. It's like, is this like your first trial? Because
Well, do we know? Is it his first trial?
no. It's not that he's a bad attorney. He just has a bad case.
Yeah, he's just grasping at straws.
Yes, he has got nothing. She's just like, I mean, can we just leave out anything that hurts my client, and so we don't get spanked too bad?
Well, I mean, his client doesn't have to testify.
Well,
I mean, that
yeah,
solves all of that, doesn't it?
But Ivory wants to put him up there because he thinks that it's going to help his case. You have to understand that there are a jury of 10 black men on there.
Oh.
And they think that they're going to appeal because of color and race, not realizing that most of the population does not give 2 shits whether you're black, white, Asian. They don't care. Show me the facts. Show me the evidence. I will look at it. I will make my judgment based on that. And whenever the problem is with B. Ivory Lamar, he doesn't give anybody agency because he thinks he knows better. He knows more. This is a problem.
Do we know the breakdown of the jury?
I believe that there's 10 black men on there and a woman and a male. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's been a while, but I know that they were just like there's like 10 black men on the jury plus whatever they have as backup. It's like severely like, if you looked at the racial breakdown of it, you would go, holy crap, it's like black men, no females, like, but maybe one. And you just go, oh yeah, I got this in the bag. But you have to bring the damn case. It would have been one thing. It would have been one thing if dude would have got out of his car, had a firearm, B. Ivory Lamar, or not B. Ivory, but Edgecomb shoots him and deletes him, and then takes off running because he's scared of the wife or something like that. Goes back home, calls the police and says, hey, I just did this and I'm scared to death. I need, calling his attorney, because he has a probation attorney currently, that he was out on bond for. He could have called that attorney and said, listen, this just happened. I wasn't supposed to be carrying a firearm, but this guy pulled a firearm on me and I deleted him. Then there would have been something to be said. More than likely, he wouldn't be sitting in the position he is now, which is in prison, like picking up powdered soap.
Well, with 3
because
priors,
more than likely,
probably...
the jury would look at it and they would say, listen, he was acting in self-defense. He got out of the situation as quick as possible because it looked like it was going to be a violent situation. We'll be forgiving of that. He didn't run off to Kentucky, didn't run off to Georgia. He went back to his place, turned himself in, and now here we are getting this taken care of. And, it's horrible that this happened, that the man lost his life, but he did pull a firearm out on him. He did do this to him. But the fact that he went on the run, just like every step of the way, all the things that make you appear guilty happened. Yeah, just because they're a color does not mean that they will ignore the facts. Most juries take it serious and leave their beliefs at the door. Absolutely. That's that it.
Well, and also age, stations in life have a lot to do with how people decide stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, if they were all his age and all from his background, might be a
then
problem.
he probably wouldn't be serving on the jury because he's got 3 criminal convictions.
Probably not.
Generally, that would be the rule, but in this case, we have something unique in that he's pled to offenses that he was charged that are the same date and same transaction.
All right, I'm taking it under advisement. Both sides are to provide me with some legal research and case law or authority on this matter. I'm confident this is not the first time in the history of American jurisprudence that this has occurred. Find me a case from Wisconsin, find me a federal case, or find me persuasive authority, and I will weigh that along with the fairness and the equity related to the pleas. Obviously, the CCW counts as 1 conviction. Clearly, at a minimum, when the defendant testifies, he will have to answer at least 1. The question will be whether it's 1 or 3, or I guess arguably 2, but I think really boils down to 1 or 3. So both sides, please do some research, provide me with a case in Wisconsin. If there is one, I'm certainly not aware of a Wisconsin case, but the federal system has a very similar process and similar rule. Find me a federal case from the Eastern District, or find me some persuasive authority. It's almost 5 o'clock, we're gonna break for there. I want all the defense witnesses ready to go at 8:30. That means Dr. Black, the police officer or officers, the ME, and obviously the defendant will be present. We're taking a break, I want everybody back at 8:15. We'll start as close to 8:30 as possible tomorrow. We're off the record.
Oh yeah. So
Dr. Black just keeps distracting me, but
the poop.
I know a Dr. Black, so it's like I just keep.
Oh,
like, really?
It might be it might be the same one.
No, it's not. I promise. But it's funny.
So we no, it's absolutely hilarious. So here we go. This is day 5. Sarah Schreiber, which is their toxicologist. We're going to skip through all of this because it's absolute garbage. No, it really is. It is absolute garbage, and this is it really is because toxicologist.
The name of Jason Cleereman. The report date is October the 2nd, 2020. This report was authored by me, as evident by my signature, electronic signature on the second page of the report, and the date of October 2nd, 2020.
Okay, is that a fair and accurate representation of your actual
she's
report?
got a Karen.
Yes, okay.
She's got a
This
Karen
time,
haircut.
you told me evidence, Judge.
Any objection?
No.
Fine, received.
Thank you. As a toxicologist, are you familiar with dissipation rates and elimination rates of alcohol in human blood?
Yes, I am. Eliminated
Yeah,
from the body.
Their defense is basically saying that he's been drinking, and of course, we'll just skip forward to where she gets destroyed by the defense, because there's no point in doing much more than that. Yeah, that look right there is perfect for her.
It's the Karen.
Let me scratch that. So the 3 to 4 drinks that somebody can consume, the typical serving under this chart is assuming 12 ounces of a standard beer, and that under this chart you would need 7 or 8 drinks if you were 240 pounds or to reach 0.12. Is that correct?
That's correct. Again, not taking account for elimination or any of the other parameters that were spoken of previously.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. He wasn't driving. I mean,
Well, maybe.
no, he wasn't driving. That's the
No, I'm
thing.
saying, does it matter? It might matter.
How?
Like if somebody was under the influence and they did something.
So if Mr. Cleereman was under the influence and approached a guy, and he is too drunk, wouldn't it be easy just to turn around and walk away because the guy's staggering?
Are we talking about the guy that was deleted, or are we talking about
Talking
the
about
offender?
the guy that was deleted. That's
Okay.
all her toxicology report is on.
Is about him. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was about the defendant.
No,
Okay.
this is about the deleted guy.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. He's deleted.
Thank you. Nothing further.
State. I'm not going to get into all of that. There's just one thing I want to clarify. Defense counsel stated, well, if someone was at a 0.12 and several hours earlier had stopped drinking, that could cause them to be high, right?
The concentration of ethanol could be higher than it was at the measured time, but not infinitely. At some point, it would be lower because that number doesn't just forever increase in a retrospective fashion.
Also, if, as in this case, we're not talking about hours between someone leaving the bar and the autopsy. If someone is at a bar drinking, leaves, gets into a car, and within minutes gets out and is shot in the head, that BAC is pretty much where it would have been. Is that correct?
Where what would have been?
Where his BAC would have been at the time that he got shot and killed, correct?
Yes.
Okay. No, thank you.
Great. All right, you can step down, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh, that's it?
Yep, that
Who's
was
the defense
it.
next witness?
We're recalling Dr. Kelly.
Like I said, there was
Yes.
it was a waste of defense time. Bye, Karen.
Bye, Karen.
This is
Based on our conversation.
Dr.
EY.
Black.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. And thanks for coming back, Dr. Kelly. Just had a couple questions for you. Just want to clear some things up.
Sorry.
Are you familiar with what's known as the hinge chart?
Objection, Your Honor. We've already taken testimony on this. This is cumulative.
Mr. King.
Sorry. Let me get back. This is cumulative. We've already just gone through this.
Dude's listening to shit.
Did he just
Like, this is
take the
cumulative. We
microphone?
already discussed this. Like, it's cumulative. This guy's already been on
Right.
the stand.
Okay.
They just recalled him to the stand. He's just like, Your Honor, this is cumulative. We've already discussed this particular aspect of the case.
Judge, I just wanted to answer.
He can answer that question. Yes. Can you rephrase it? I didn't hear it. Everybody needs to use the microphones, please.
Sir, are you familiar with the hinge charts?
I'm familiar with, I think what you're talking about is a hinge chart. I just know it as a blood alcohol concentration estimation chart.
Okay, I'm going to show you what's marked as Exhibit D18. Dr. Kelly, do you recognize this document?
Objection, Your Honor. We've just gone through this. We're literally just going through the same thing again with another witness.
Right. This is the exact same exhibit that was shown to the last witness.
Right, but it is, but Judge, he's saying that he's familiar with those things. I'm asking him to confirm if that comports with his knowledge of that.
What's the relevance? We've already gotten in it.
Number one, this is automatically admissible under Wisconsin
I don't
law.
talk about admissibility. I think the objection was cumulative. If we just heard one witness expound on alcohol and BAC and all those things, why do we need this witness to do that?
I'm not going to have him go into that. I just want to be able to see if he recognizes the chart and show
Fine,
that.
you can answer if he recognizes the chart, then let's ask questions that are not cumulative. Or repetitive.
I do recognize the chart.
Okay. And is that consistent with what your knowledge
Yeah, no,
of
that's
the blood
really
alcohol chart in this state
unfortunate
is?
Yeah.
I don't understand the question. The blood alcohol chart in this state,
Sorry, I will rephrase the question. You said you recognize the chart. Can you tell us what you recognize about it, Doctor?
well, the state of Wisconsin created this based on how many
care.
drinks, how many standards.
Don't care.
Yeah, that's the number. If you go up, I think it's 8.
Doesn't matter.
The metabolic furnaces of all the cells in your body shut down.
And you would agree that the month of September,
No, yeah.
Right,
it's
jury's
all
been
just
excused.
about
We're gonna
how
take a
much
short
he's had
7-minute
to drink.
recess.
That's it.
No, it's like the guy he just needs to go for it. Just shave it. Just shave it. It's distracting.
I know you're agreeing. You're agreeing with me. Like, dude, there's nothing wrong with being bald. Seriously, there is nothing
Well,
wrong
I mean,
with being
even
bald.
what he's hanging on to is like patchy. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, come on, guy.
I mean, do the horseshoe. Shave it short. Like,
Yeah.
see,
Take it down to a 1.
my uncle is bald. He is, whenever I say bald, he's like bald. He's got the crown. Okay.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, he did this comb over. I mean, it was like this serious comb over. Like, it was a comb over wrapped around and combed over again. It was
Swirly.
like, yeah, whenever his hair, the wind would blow, his hair would be like out to here. I mean, it was like arm's length on top, but he had it all piled up here. You know, you've seen it before.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Right. His daughter, my cousin, said, "Listen, because she's a professional hairdresser. She does hair for a living." She said, "Dad, trust me. I'm going to cut your hair. We're taking this off, and we're going to make you look good again." And my uncle was just like, she did it for years and years and years. And finally, he succumbed to it. He was like, okay. She cut it, but she cut it short. I mean, it's about the length that mine is on the side. Maybe a little bit shorter than that. Like whenever I get it fresh cut. Cut it short. And, he's got the bald top. I mean, it's clearly bald there. He's got short hair on the sides. And it, no joke, makes him look about 10 years younger than he actually is.
I'm sure. And plus the time. Can you imagine how long it takes?
Oh, yeah.
How long are you doing this to get it right?
To get it all wrapped on there, to, get it all in place. And whenever when I had seen him, it was probably about 6 months after he got it cut. He shows up and I was just like, it's like, damn, Jesse, you are looking like younger than you've ever looked before. And give me a sec. You got your hair cut. And he was just like, he got all sheepish. I was like, no, it makes you look younger. Like impressively younger. Like I would swear, here you are at pushing 65, and I would swear to God that you don't look like you're a day over like 45.
Aw.
And he's just like,
he made his day.
He was like, no. I'm just like, no. I mean, seriously, whoever did you? And he says, well, Kate cut my hair. Damn it, I didn't want to do it, but thank you. And he's humble about it. And I'm like, listen, there's nothing wrong with losing it up there, but I'll tell you that this looks really good on you. It fits you really well. It makes you look. It makes you look sturdier. Does that make sense? Like,
well, there's a confidence too that comes from being willing to let's just go there.
Yeah.
I think that comes off as confidence to me. I mean, well, the Duke is, balding, and he's down, he takes it down to a 1.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it looks great.
Yeah. Like a lot of guys get all worried about that. I'm just like, don't trust me. I told my wife, because, I get the receding hairline, but you also have, if you looked at pictures whenever I was younger, like they're all the hairdressers hated cutting my hair because it's so thick. Like I've got a lot of hair. I mean, it's thinned out since I've gotten older, but I'm just like, I don't care. My wife was like, oh, do you think I should start like dyeing my hair? I was like, why? She was like, well, and I was just like, why? Do you want to wake up one day and realize that you're gray and have to keep doing it like your mother does? I said, you've earned every single one of those gray hairs. There's nothing wrong with that.
I have the same 9 gray hairs I've had my whole life.
Yeah.
My mother never went gray, ever.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm like, I don't know if I won't go. I mean, I'm sure I will. I mean, certainly.
Well, and this light doesn't do my hair justice. It is a lot grayer than it looks. Like it is.
Well, it's a silver fox.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever. But I don't care. I mean, you know, it's whatever. I'm like, okay.
I mean, I don't think I'd be upset about going gray. I think it would,
No.
you know, free highlights. I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, it's like what salt and pepper. I mean, my hair was like always like a dark brown until it hit like summer hit, and then it would be blonde, like reddish blonde.
Well, like, but redheads don't really go gray. They go like peach.
Not my grandmother. She went silver. Like my grandmother
she?
was a redhead.
Was she a redhead?
Oh, yeah.
Like, with like traditional redhead auburn or like
No, she's
clear cut?
traditional redhead. My mother was more of the auburn. Like she got that the dark red hair, as did my sister. But
Mine was really red when I was younger, but by the time I had, well, actually, when I got pregnant with my son, it turned really dark, and it never went back.
never came back. Yeah, it's well, and from what I understand, the gray is caused by formaldehyde in the body that causes it to turn gray.
I don't want to think about that.
No. Well, that's what I heard. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not.
I don't want to think about that.
I'm just saying that's what I heard. It could be true.
I don't know. It's one thing I've not investigated.
Oh, and Bad Duck says, listen, Rosalind. Oh,
Thank you, Bad Duck.
I appreciate that, Peach.
So naughty. He's on fire tonight.
He is. I think we need a hammer to put him out.
He's got a little wiggle in those tail feathers tonight.
Yeah, my facial hair grows very, very fast, I guess, sort of. So, was it about 3 weeks ago? I punched a hole through my lip. Is this the spot? Yeah, I punched a hole through my lip with a stick. I cut down a tree. The branch bounced off the ground and came back and punched in and hit the tooth and split from my nose all the way down to like the base of my lip. And there was a hole that was punched right about here. Within a week, it was healed up. You can't even tell.
Well,
but
I'm
I
glad
had
that
to
it healed
shave.
up quickly. But
Well, yeah, it healed very quick. So I shaved everything off on the mustache portion of it because it was, well, first of all, this is about as thick as it was before. I shaved off the mustache so I could see how bad it was, which I could stick my tongue, like pop it out. Yeah, it was gross. But
no, I
so
don't do well with that kind of talk.
I put a butterfly suture on it. And I didn't show my face that night. That was no joke. It was that day that we did the mock trial on Baker Street.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't show my face because I had a hole punched in it, and it was not looking pretty. Plus, I had shaved everything off, so the next day I think I just had a bandage on it, and I showed everybody. Well, I shaved everything off. They're like, "Holy crap!" And then the next week I came back, and it was healed up.
That's incredible, actually.
Well, my wife hates it because she got a scratch on her leg. Oh, a scratch on her leg the same day. It still hasn't healed up.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I'm terrible with that. Like if I even get like we go up to Arkansas and we do a lot of hiking and stuff like that. If I get any sort of like mosquito bite or even like a chigger or whatever, I mean, it takes forever to heal. I mean, it's like it's there for a year.
You know the quick way to get rid of chiggers?
What?
Is put nail polish over where the chigger is.
It's not effective for me.
Not effective
at all.
For you. Really?
It's not effective.
Super glue?
I might try super glue because that's pretty effective on everything. Yeah. I did that. We used to build parade floats. Oh yeah, that baby face is crazy.
My AI baby face, because I did the AI baby face, they're like, oh, it was priceless. I was like, well, it was funny, but now that it has a beard, it doesn't really pull off as well.
Oh, that was so funny. That first time I was on, I was like, what is going on with Shizzy's face?
It's like, we like to have a little bit of fun here. I mean,
it's like, what am I drinking? What's happening?
like, am I missing something? What's even more interesting is whenever you watch what the desk does. Like you'll
Is
notice
or
it
is
here in a
warp
second.
stuff?
Huh?
Is
Oh,
it
just-
warp stuff?
No, just keep watching. You'll understand here in a short bit.
Okay.
Are you starting to understand what I was talking about? It's crazy, isn't it?
Oh wow. No, that's weird. Oh my goodness.
What? Hello? Hello up there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I only go down for you. No, I was actually. I have a standing desk.
Okay, gotcha.
So I press a button and then the desk raises. And if I'm still sitting, if I stand up, then all you see is like my belly button. Who wants to look at my belly button?
Somebody might.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Yes. And this was actually a pretty inexpensive standing desk, and it has enough space on it that I can do quite a bit. Like working on this has been so much easier. So I understand. No, because I can stand, I can stretch my legs, makes me get some blood flowing to the lower extremities, and helps with blood circulation, all that kind of stuff.
It's hard for me to work and stand at the same time just because it's a lot of design work, so it's a lot of drawing.
Oh, I understand.
Makes it challenging.
Well, with what I do, it's much easier because you can sort of readjust, and it's also, you can readjust it where it's almost like your arms are sitting at the same spot as if you were sitting down.
So the whole thing has a platform that raises.
The whole desk raises up, and then you just stand up behind it. Like you can adjust the height that you want it to be at. It's not like it goes too high or too low. It's like you stop it wherever you're comfortable with where you're at.
Gotcha.
But it's pretty good. Pretty good. You're not the only one you're not the only one that had that reaction. Shame on you. Shame on you, ladies. All right, here's Edgecomb. We're not going to make it through all of this tonight, but we're going to make it through a good portion of it. Probably about another hour. Are you good for another hour?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, sir, if you can stand and raise your right hand, please.
You solemnly swear the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. If you're seated, state your full name, spelling the first name. Please speak into the microphone.
Yes, Theodore Edgecomb. That's T-H, first name Theodore. Last name is Edgecomb, as in boy.
Go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Edgecomb.
Good morning.
Now, I just want to get a couple things out
What's
the way.
up, Jacob?
Mr. Edgecomb, have you ever been convicted of a crime before?
Yes.
And how many times?
3 to my knowledge, yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. Edgecomb, how old are you?
32 years old.
And if you could tell the members of the jury about,
He looks
just
older
your
than
family. Do you have any
32.
kids?
Yes, I have 5 children.
Okay. And
Five.
if you could describe to the members of the jury just your family construct.
My children, they're my pride and joy. 2 sons, I have 3 daughters, and whom I love dearly. I have a special, unique bond with each one of them. I tell them everything. I don't try to keep anything from them. When I look at them, I see myself in them. They remind me of myself even at a younger age with, different things in which they do, their reactions to certain things, their humor, their mannerisms, even how they look. At times, when I'm looking at them, it's like I'm looking in the mirror.
And Mr. Edgecomb, are you engaged?
Yes,
And who are you engaged to?
Miss Ruby Mizell.
Okay. Now, Mr. Theodore Edgecomb, if you
So Ruby Mizell is the one that took out a warrant on his ass because of domestic abuse. And she was his fiance at the time of the trial, but she has since then married him.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that was also one that got up and testified about him which did no good. I mean, yeah.
So she uses DV to punish him when he's misbehaving, but she marries him.
Or it might be whenever he's beating the ever-living crap out of her, which she's also the mother, if I'm not mistaken, of at least one of the children.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's that kind of guy. He's that kind of guy that, shut up, woman. You done spoke too much. Done cracked her across the head, got a DV against him, and he was ordered not to be carrying a firearm. So, freeze frame on the very nice. Yes, he is a murderer.
You could explain to the members of the jury, where were you raised?
In Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
And where did you reside on or about September 22nd of 2020?
During that time, I was in between places. At the time, though, that particular date, I was residing on.
And guess what? You were residing with your girlfriend at the time that she had a DV restraining order against, and you also took her firearm with you whenever you went to go out for the night. Because it was
for a jog,
his firearm.
I guess. Some physical fitness.
No, he went out to go pick up sushi for him and his daughter so they can have a daughter-daddy date night, which just sounds creepy. Daddy-daughter date night.
Sushi in Wisconsin?
Yep. Because them fish be fresh. Catfish. No, went to go pick up some sushi, came back, and popped a cap at a guy's ass. Simple as that. And then went on the run through that firearm somewhere in the water. Somewhere off some bridge.
Holton Street on the Lower East Side of Milwaukee.
Okay. Now, if you could tell the members of the jury about your education background.
Yes, I attended college. I have enough credits.
That was bad.
I need a few more credits in order to.
What did you guys do to Ricada?
It was bad. Did you see it?
No.
You haven't seen it?
No. I work all the damn time.
It was bad.
What happened?
As best I can tell, maybe not up to doing his normal drinking stream. And it was bad.
Did you get wasted or what?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I mean, and he just doesn't, I think whatever he's been dealing with, he's not done dealing with it, I think, to be honest. And, I admire him. I think he's a great guy. I think he's intelligent, but it was not pretty.
Well, we all go through shit.
Oh, sure. Just most of us aren't on camera.
Yeah. Well, trust me. Your life gets on camera all the time. You just don't know
I think he spent about 4 minutes trying to figure out how to turn the stream off and didn't quite do it.
Well, hey, I've seen that happen on Meme, where Meme just basically turned his camera off, said something like, "Oh, you turds" or something, and then just went to sleep.
Yeah, I think he tried to turn off his camera, but he couldn't figure that out. It was.
He was pretty gone.
It was pretty gone.
It's awesome.
I hope that whatever's going on with him, that it resolves soon and that he can get back to himself. That's what I hope.
He will.
Yeah, I really like him.
Yeah, I mean, he's smart. He'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where he's probably pretty close to being burned out, needs to get a little bit of rest, and he'll get it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's a bad spot to be in, the YouTube plays. Yep.
Sure.
To get obtain my bachelor's degree.
Okay. And what was your field of study?
Psychology.
And what interested you about psychology?
Just the study of human behavior. I'm a people person, and just with that, just wanting to understand individuals more, just to get more acclimated with them, and just understanding people overall. Their uniqueness, different abilities that they have, what makes us different, what makes us the same, and yeah. Now,
Mr. Edgecomb, were you employed on or about September 22nd of 2020?
I think majority of America wasn't employed at that time. The country was pretty much shut down, and I was at home pretty much, and just looking to, like everyone else, get unemployment due to the fact that I wasn't employed at that time.
Okay, what did you do prior to the COVID situation?
Looking to do what everybody else was doing was get an unemployment.
I was just looking to get unemployment like everybody else.
Sweetheart. Sweetheart. And I'm talking to you, Edgecomb. Sweetheart. I was employed. And had I stayed at my current job, I would have still been employed because I didn't slap my bitch up. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't looking to get a job. I wasn't looking to get unemployment. I prefer not to get unemployment if I possibly can.
Right.
I've only.
It's nice. It's nice that it's there for people run into shit and they need. Oh, sorry. They need help, but it shouldn't be your goal.
I've only had to draw on unemployment once. Well, at a period of time in my life, which was not damn good. Once. That's it. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't a happy place to be. It wasn't enough money to supplement anything. I mean, yeah, sure,
right.
There was money coming in, but it was nothing compared to the amount of money that I had gotten to at that
right.
point in my life. It's nice that it was there, but dude, I hated it so much.
Right.
Like, because you're talking like right after the big market crash, nobody's hiring, everybody's saying putting layoffs in, and you're coming in off of a job that you're just like, dude, I just got laid off. Nope, we're not hiring. Nope, we're not hiring. Nope, we're not hiring. Nope, we're not hiring. I was just nonstop. Like, I could not get a job. I had to go back to turning wrenches. Luckily, I can do that. So I went back to turning wrenches and got a job as a mechanic after, I think it was almost a year. It was like 9 months, nine and a half months of no work. It sucks so bad.
Right. No, yeah, it definitely does. I mean, I think it was 2004 when I got laid off. It was like a delayed response. It was after 9/11. Our corporate headquarters was in World Trade Center. And, I made it through 2 rounds of them taking people out.
Yep.
And I didn't survive the 3rd round, but it was a weird time for sure.
Well, see, I was working for Geek Squad. I left Geek Squad, went to go work for an ISP that got bought out by a internet service provider, a long distance phone company purchased them. And whenever they purchased them, they had their own people doing the same job that I was doing already. And I was the last one hired, so I was gone. 6 months later, another guy was gone. 6 months later, another guy was gone. They all got replaced by people that were from the new company. Sucked.
Yeah.
And then I just went back to turning wrenches, and I did that up until the time that I went to work for my wife in 2020. Yeah, February of 2020 is whenever I went to go work for my wife.
Yeah, I went back to the liquor industry again and did marketing there. I guess for about a year.
Yeah.
And then I was just done, and so I decided to go out on my own as a freelance designer. So
you do well.
All roads lead to here. Well, it was not great at first, I can tell you that.
No, it never is. But that's the thing. Once you get to that point where you're just like, yeah, all the blood, sweat, and tears was completely worth it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, same way with going back to turning wrenches. I was just like, I don't want to turn wrenches again. I was doing this temporary, still putting in applications, get a job, working back in IT, but nobody was hiring, like, at all. It was just like, yeah, you don't have enough experience. I was like, Jesus Christ, what more experience do you want? Well, do you have this certification? No. But if you want me to, like, reconfigure your Cisco router, sure, I can do that.
Right.
I mean, do you want me to set stuff up on a wide area network or just your local area network? You tell me. What do you want? Yeah, it sucked. But they were just like, yeah, we got people that do that already. I'm like, do you have a master's degree in computer science? I was like, no, I didn't spend, $60,000 just to get an associate's degree. I
Right.
didn't do that.
Oh gosh, it's barely 2 years now.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I'm like, yeah, I just went back to turning wrenches. Screw it. Turn wrenches and now work for my wife, and I make a hell of a lot more money, and I don't have to deal with all the bullshit.
Right.
All I have to do is just, put out to my wife every so often.
Love and affection. Love and affection.
Nothing wrong with sleeping with the boss. Just saying.
I work for SPX Transformers Solution in Waukesha, and I was an electrical product assembler. So I built transformers for the in which they were shipped around the world.
Okay. Now, were you involved in any type of volunteer activities of any kind?
Yes.
If you could explain to the members of the jury, what kind of activities were you involved in?
Well, first off, one in which I took pride in, I was a T-ball coach for my daughter and her team. They were called the Zimbos, and this is in the Beckham-Stapleton League, of Milwaukee. I took great pride in that. My daughter, she over-exceeded in it. The team, they were great individuals, all of them unique. Yeah.
Okay. Were there any other activities outside of the T-ball league that you've done?
Yes, a few.
Okay. You want to tell the jury about those as well?
I assisted in basketball coaching too in the league, and also too participated in mentoring, if you may. I have a nonprofit called RAP, Restoring Anointed Paths, in which I help youth just in life, just becoming of age from the age of 9 and up, just help them being better individuals in society, helping them.
So you're helping youth, yet you couldn't control your anger.
Even as far as training, if they have schoolwork, participating in different programs that will help enrich them. And a lot of these individuals come from impoverished situations. So, and that's why that was a part of why I studied psychology too, to also help individuals.
Not a good role
and
model.
I mentioned, these young men were in impoverished situations, the majority of them. So, and understanding their situations and, empathizing with them, that was a part of RAP and Restoring Anointed Paths.
Okay. Now, I want to transition a little bit, Mr. Edgecomb. I want to now talk about the summer of 2020.
Yes.
Do a couple things stand out to you about the summer of 2020?
Yes, a lot actually.
Okay. I want to first go into, do you recall experiencing any racial tensions that you experienced during that time frame?
During the summer of 2020?
Yes.
As far as for myself or just out in society?
Just generally in society.
Generally, yes, I know the George Floyd situation was pretty prevalent in society at that time. There were a lot of marches, protests, different things like that going on. And there was a lot of groups that were clashing against each other. And with that, it created a lot of divisiveness in the world. In which,
So I had to look this up because Restoring Anointed Paths is what he said. It is a nonprofit organization based out of Miami, Florida. It has, on Facebook, they have 48 likes and 47 followers. And they quote a bunch of Ecclesiastes. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up to discipline and instruction. And they have not done anything since 2014 on Facebook.
2014.
Yeah, 2014 would have been their last post.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything.
And I'm sitting there going, okay, so he's part of RAP, Restoring Anointed Past. Nope. There's just nothing there.
Not that branch, anyway. Maybe he started his own independent in jail, probably.
Yeah, it's the dude's an idiot. Because he's trying to make it sound like he's into something really important, but
oh yeah.
Yeah. Helping out the youth.
A lot of people were harmed. A lot of people, it was it created a huge divisiveness in society, in America, actually.
How's that?
It was different groups, like I said, that were going against each other, and this wasn't
And
prevalent
they
prior
spell
to,
anointed
prior to this
wrong, too.
pandemic and, different issues as far as George Floyd that were going on. People were more brash and bold about what they were doing, and it was so out in the open. It was looking and seeming like no one could pretty much stop this. It was like chaotic and madness.
And how did that make you feel? Did you ever attend or observe any of these protests or marches that you spoke of?
Yes, I actually attended a few, and when I did so, I brought my children. Upon them growing and becoming of age, I didn't keep too much from them. I taught them about history, Black history in particular, and how different individuals were treated. And also too, with that, I told them both sides.
So tell me there, Edgecomb, what do you know about Black history? Because everything would be history at this point.
Right.
Black, white, Asian, it's all history. Like every day that you move forward, everything in the past is history.
Exactly.
But it's Black history. We go back to the time of whenever we were first brought to this country, and we own it now. Okay, I don't understand. I'm so confused. Like, didn't they try this? Wasn't it Abraham Lincoln that wanted to send all the Blacks back on a ship? Thought that would be a good idea. I'm trying to think what the name of that. Liberia. Yeah, they created a country that was just dedicated to doing that. They wanted to ship them all back to Africa. Yeah, it was not a pretty sight. It's not a pretty sight.
No.
Yeah. Thought he freed the slaves. Man. No.
Made a proclamation.
He made a proclamation.
Wasn't very effective.
No.
It ended a war, basically.
Basically ended a war. But you have to understand that the North still held more slaves than the South even during that time, and continued to hold them.
They continue to hold them.
Yeah. And even to this day, they still continue to hold them. Y'all are slaves to the man. You just don't know it yet.
Getting that check.
Yeah.
Of how people need to come together more and not be so divided, because we're more alike than we are different. And with me teaching them that, it gave them the understanding of, it showed them and gave them the knowledge and understanding of, not to hate, to love individuals, to be caring, to be kind, and to have empathy, show humility, and, just be a genuine person overall.
Now, did any of these racial tensions, affect you in any way, as far as your state of mind to any degree?
Yes. Racism it's a thing that affects me. I follow Black history is like a favorite of mine, a favorite subject of mine rather. Even past history, from slavery up until now, I've even suffered, being discriminated against from individuals in society, from individuals in whom I was close with. And with that, I never understood the basis of it and why, someone could literally hate another person a lot of the times without not even knowing them. And with this, it was, just like I said, from past histories, just understanding and knowing the dynamics of slavery and, just that whole ordeal and, just people, I just couldn't, I really, even now, I can't wrap my head around, why anyone would be racist.
Mr. Edgecomb, I want to now kind of transition to the city of Milwaukee, if you will. How safe do you feel about traveling, or what is your views as far as the safety of this city?
It seems like each year, the crime rate has risen. Even in the particular area in which I was staying, during I was in between as far as in 2020, that particular area was considered a safe area. But individuals whom I encountered and even rode bikes with, they were like saying that the crime rate had even risen in that area, and it was known to be a particularly good area. But a couple of these individuals, like I mentioned, whom I even rode bikes with, they didn't even feel safe riding bikes by themselves. So, we would travel in groups and even meet up in groups, like from 3 to 5 people at a time. because they didn't feel safe. One particular guy, he told me, I was mugged, and they didn't get much, but just my wallet. But even in that instance, he didn't even feel safe riding by himself. So.
Now, Mr. Edgecomb, have you ever been violently attacked or assaulted in your life?
Yes, I've there was an attempted robbery done on myself before.
Yes.
Okay. And when was that, Mr. Edgecomb?
It was in 2018, I believe. Yes, 2018.
So roughly 2 years or so before the incident in question?
Yes.
Now, as a result of what you believe to be, a violent area, did you carry any weapons at any time during the year of 2020?
Yes, I carried a weapon, just, for protection purposes. Never, with any intent to hurt, harm, or endanger anyone, though.
Yeah, but Mr. Edgecomb, you're on a bicycle, right? Is that your main source of transportation?
Yes. At that time, yes.
So, Mr. Edgecomb, so you're telling this jury that you're driving a bicycle, but you feel the need to carry a firearm. Is that correct?
It was Liberia, and I was wrong. It was Marcus Garvey, 1887 to 1940. Most well-known figure is associated with the Back to Africa movement. Garvey was a black nationalist and Pan-Africanist who led the largest organized mass movement in black history. His organization, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, also UNIA, established 700 branches in 38 states by the early 1920s. Garvey's message was back to Africa. He sought to establish an independent black state in Liberia and other locations around the world. Does that make sense? And if you're wondering, yeah, Garvey was born in Jamaica, worked as a messenger and a handyman for the African Times and Orient Review. This is him right here. He is the man that wanted to move back. He was convicted of mail fraud in 1923, imprisoned in 1925, and pardoned in 1927, and he was deported back to Jamaica. There's also have been many back to Africa movements since the 1800s, including the American Colonization Society, which resettled thousands of freeborn blacks and freed slaves in Liberia, and the 1960s movement, which saw African Americans resettled in Guyana, Tanzania, and other African countries. Today, there's a continuing movement where hundreds of African Americans voluntarily leave for Ghana and other African countries.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Marcus Garvey. It was Liberia. Yeah, I say this stuff because I remember hearing about it and I thought it was Lincoln, but no, Lincoln actually did try to do something. And whenever I pulled that up, it was completely different. It was basically saying that they tried to ship a bunch of former slaves to a cotton plantation off of another coast, and it failed miserably because, well, food, water, that kind of stuff, resources.
Right.
Yeah. I do like ancient history though. Well, and here's something interesting. Think about this. Okay. So my wife and I went and visited Italy. Okay. And and we spent our last few days in Rome, and we wandered around Rome. We went to the Forum, to the Colosseum, and at the time that Mussolini was there in power, where he ran an interstate right through the middle of the Forum, it was like everyone got sort of like, okay, whatever, but now they're all in an uproar about it. A major interstate right through the middle of the Forum. And I said, so what happened with all of this? I mean, you had this Forum, you had all this, and wife was just like, I don't know. Well, I mean, you're the history buff. You're like she goes, well, I never followed that part of it. I was like, well, what happened to Rome? I mean,
right.
Like the city is still here. Did they just stop using the buildings and just let it fall in complete disrepair? What happened? I don't know. I'm like, thanks. You're a lot of help. Like the questions that I ask, you don't have any answers for, but oh my God, you've been lied to.
Good question. No, the Emancipation Proclamation was real. It just wasn't effective.
No.
It didn't dissuade public opinion.
No. It just made a proclamation. You know, it's like saying I hate you. Okay. I like you. Okay. It doesn't.
Right.
You have no affect to it. You're just like, hooray! You made a.
It was just a way. It was a way to end the war.
Yep.
But it really, you know, we were still fighting it.
Yeah.
Probably still fighting it.
Yep.
Only, like, I would say it wasn't all the time. Mainly, you know, like at nighttime when, you know, more crimes can be more prevalent. It would mainly just, you know, be at home, you know, in my home just to protect my family and my children, keep it there for protection.
Okay.
So you carried it that night. Why were you carrying it that night? You know you weren't supposed to be carrying it.
Because he wanted to go and respect and have empathy for others.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forget.
You're saying that you would generally carry it at night when you were driving the bike. Is that correct?
If I were out, yes, by myself, yes.
Why?
Now, Mr. Edgecomb, at this time, I want to now direct your attention.
I'm just trying to think how many white people go in the ghetto hunting black men?
No.
I'm just curious how many white burglars do you see going into the ghetto to rob black families?
I don't know.
I'm confused.
September 22nd, 2020. Does anything stand out to you about that particular day?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to just kind of start from, you know, earlier in that day. What was your thought process? What were your intentions? If you could explain to the members of the jury, you know, what plans did you have for September 22nd?
Well, just to go back a little bit, that date in particular, I had all my children with me. I was in sort of a bliss, you know, starting out that day. You know, it was a joyous day. My two youngest children at the time, they were 1 and they were reaching milestones in their lives. As far as like just beginning potty training. So, you know, everyone, my oldest daughter in particular, you know, we would congratulate them. She was helping out. She's a nurturer at heart. And she was helping me with them, you know, as they were reaching these different milestones. They were just beginning to walk. So I had all of them. Like it was.
Why is your daughter helping and not your wife or your fiance or even you? Like,
Well, they were potty training and just starting their lives.
Yeah. Just starting their lives. It's all history now.
It was just a good day, you know, good vibe, good energy. Like I said, I had all my children, and that's the best part of life to me. You know, just being around family, having my children in particular.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you were happy about a particular daughter, correct?
Yes.
What was that daughter's name?
I'm happy about all my children, but that day in particular, I had scheduled a daddy-daughter date night with my oldest daughter, just to catch up with her, just to, you know, continue.
It just sounds creepy whenever he says this.
Yeah.
Every time that he says daddy-daughter date night and she was a part of their lives, raising them to like potty train them and all those kinds of things, it's just like, dude, it just sounds creepy. Just sounds really creepy. I mean, I understand maybe it is meant to be true and honest, but it just sounds creepy whenever you're talking about your daughter raising kids and then having a date with them. Just, I mean, it's like,
well, daddy-daughter date night is a thing, but I don't know if you run out for sushi to do it. Like usually you would take your daughter somewhere. Like take her.
It's hard to take her on a bicycle, right? I mean, what do? Put her on the handlebars?
I mean, how old is she? Was she 4? How old is she?
I don't know. It just sounds creepy. Damn it. What's wrong with enjoying some young girl's red snapper, you uncultured swines?
And you, just to bond even more. I hadn't spent that much time with her because I had 2 new children at that time, like prevalently new. They were 1 year old, but they needed more attention than the oldest 2, and they understood that. So especially with my oldest daughter in particular, like I said, she's a nurturer. She's like has this momminess about her, and when she would help me help us. Even at times, me and her mother, she would, soothe us and comfort us or help us.
See what I mean? It just sounds icky.
It's just getting worse. It's getting worse.
You don't compare your daughter to a nurturer and a
mom
mother.
with momminess.
Yeah. Oh, just sounds
Words
creepy.
matter, dude.
In different times of, if we're, maybe distraught or, if we're, handling adult situations, she would come to us and comfort us, and it would throw us off, like, take us aback a bit, because it's like, she's so young, but she's mature in heart and in her nature about herself.
No.
Now, just for, the members of the jury, can you tell us the name of the daughter that you were having daddy-daughter date night with?
Yes.
Okay, what is her name?
I can't remember.
Okay. Give me a second.
Excuse me, sorry.
Oh,
Tyler Grace.
almost forgot her name. Forgot her name.
Mr. Edgecomb.
Forgot her name.
Tyler Grace on September
Dude.
22nd of 2020.
I had daddy-daughter date night scheduled and planned with her, and which I still owe her.
Oh dear. I know. I'm sorry.
My apologies.
Snorted.
I had daddy-daughter date night scheduled with her, in which I just wanted to just connect with her, even more, just bond with her.
No.
See where she was,
Just sounds creepy. Stop saying
see
it.
where she was as far as like, if she had any expectations for me,
Brought
as
him
far as,
a paper
being
towel.
her father. Thank you.
Oh,
See, if she
no.
had any expectations.
No, he did not.
Yeah, he did. The bailiff brought him some tissues, but he has no tears.
Yeah.
The rocket scientists in the sub-Saharan countries will always be best known for their VO2 max.
Expectations for me, being her father, and just letting her know, goals and expectations that I wanted for her, as far as her being my princess. And just also showing her my appreciation as far as always listening to me. Listening to me, doing good in school. Helping out her siblings. And
English.
This is hard, sorry. Helping out her siblings.
Dude, I hope it's not hard. I mean, you're talking about your daughter.
What's hard
And-
to remember what he's supposed to say here? Is what he's saying.
No, it is, because he couldn't even remember her damn name.
I can't remember her name. It's hard for me to keep up with the story I was supposed to tell.
It's like, which daughter was it that likes the sushi? Because I've been telling this lie, but nobody ever really drilled down on the question. I mean,
Ugh. This guy.
the last thing he was concerned about was his daughter. Because if he was concerned about his daughter, he never would have rode his bike up to go punch somebody. If he was concerned about his daughter getting home safe to her, he would have ridden to the sushi place. Somebody acted an ass to him. He would have said, "You know what? I want to go home and see my daughter." Like, this doesn't matter. This is low hanging fruit. It's like when you're driving somewhere and you've got other things on your mind. Someone cuts you off. You're not really concentrated on driving. You're like, "Oh, that was a stupid thing." And you curse under your breath, but you just go on with your day. You don't go chasing them down and yell at them and start freaking out, because it doesn't matter. This guy has anger issues, like severe anger issues. And it just happened to be this guy that he took his anger out on.
And just being great overall. Yeah.
It's so wrong.
So, Mr. Edgecomb, I want to. Now, what was the specific plan? So, you have a daddy-daughter date night. Where were you planning to go? What were you planning to do? If you could explain that to the members of the jury.
He's 32.
The plan at that time was just to get her favorite meal
No, it wasn't.
And just for us to, just bond, connect with each other.
It's
and
creepy.
And just watch a movie and, just have one-on-one time instead of everyone, just being collectively. And everyone in the house knew too. We're just gonna be one-on-one time and, for us to just bond with one another.
So what was her favorite meal?
Just sounds creepy.
She loves sushi. And Dynamite is a restaurant in which we would frequent. And so, I asked her though in particular, what would she like, for the date? And she told me, hey, could you give me sushi, Dad? I'm like, sure, princess.
So did you ever, make any effort to go to Dynamite on the evening of September 22nd, 2020?
Yes, I actually did. I went there. I ordered the food for the date night. I actually waited outside the restaurant because during this time, how they had it set up, we had to order from a side door. Because it was, COVID was going on. We're in the middle of a pandemic, so everyone's outside with their mask on. I paid for the food, and I kind of engaged in conversation with some individuals outside the restaurant. There was this one person in particular. In which everyone kind of sparked the conversation around. Because during that time, like masks were like everyone like had a normal mask, and this person's mask stood out at that particular time, and so everyone kind of made conversation and like humorous remarks about it at this time because they had like a face on it, and at that time no one really brandished unique sort of mask at that time because everything was still pretty much new.
Brandished.
So you mentioned
Brandished
that
unique masks.
you placed the order, correct?
Yes.
You remember what you ordered that evening?
Chicken satay. It's chicken on a stick. Some sushi for my daughter, and then, if I'm not mistaken, it was like Hawaiian fried rice.
And did you pay for that order, Mr. Edgecomb?
Yes.
And you indicated that you were waiting outside.
Just so you know, neither of those are sushi.
No. Well, except for the sushi he got for his daughter. He had the chicken on a stick and some Hawaiian fried rice.
That's not sushi.
It's Wisconsin. I don't know what they do there.
I don't know. That sounds more like Thai food.
Yeah.
Yeah, chicken satay is more Thai food.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, that's not. So what sushi did you get your daughter? I mean, come on.
What'd she get? Did she, was it a tuna roll? Was it, spicy tuna, crunchy tuna?
Was it crunchy tuna? Was it, did she get sashimi? What
was it eel? Did she like eel? What does she like?
Yeah. Maybe it was a seaweed wrap of some sort. Maybe she got a rainbow roll. I don't know. You tell me, what did she get? Because that would be my first question. Like, so what sushi does your daughter like? What was her name again? Do you remember her name?
But yeah, the daughter, you can't remember her name.
God.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you do next?
Some fried rice.
As I was waiting, I'm like, I'll kill some time. I'm gonna head to Frozone and get some frozen yogurt. I had heard about this place, but I'd never been before. A lot of people online were like making this craze about this frozen yogurt. I hadn't heard about it, or I hadn't had it yet. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna see what this place is about. So I'm gonna head there, try to get some frozen yogurt.
Okay. All right. Now, were you armed on the night of September 22nd, 2020?
Yes.
Okay. And whose firearm were you in possession of on that evening?
Ruby Mizell's.
Okay. Is that your fiance?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what made you decide to carry it on that specific night?
It was nighttime. It was the weekend too, and crimes are more prevalent like on the weekend. It's a lot more people out. Also too, I know during this pandemic, there was a lot of racial tensions, a lot of just tensions, period. And like I mentioned, like the crime rate was relatively high during that time.
Racial tensions during a pandemic? Why would there be racial tensions at that time? I'm just saying. I mean, I don't understand, because the only thing the only tension that I felt in all of that was, get the hell away from me. I mean, that was the only thing that I was pretty much just like, I just don't care. Like, anytime someone would come up and they're like, you're not wearing your mask, because, like, I'm sorry, I can't understand you.
Right.
And they of course, they would be like, I'm just like, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time understanding you. And then they would pull down their mask and go, you're not wearing a mask. Oh, neither are you. That piss them off even more. Go full retard with this fascist and jury composition. Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you carry this firearm, do you normally carry it fully loaded?
Yes.
And how many bullets would you typically have in that firearm when you carry it?
The magazine held 17.
So on the evening of September 22nd.
So let's see, 17, that would probably be a Glock.
Of 2020, did you have 17 bullets in that firearm?
Yes.
One in the chamber,
Now-
then you're not doing it right.
You mentioned, now I'm gonna mess up this name, I think you called it Froyo or Froyo?
Frozen home.
Frozone, okay. Now, what kind of place is Frozone?
I never made it to Frozone. I never had it even still yet.
Okay.
But it's a frozen yogurt place.
So was that what you were intending for dessert with you and your daughter that night?
Yes. It was like a spontaneous, spare the moment type of ordeal. It wasn't even part of the plan. I just thought of it as I was waiting, as I was waiting. I'm like, I tried this place. I heard about it, but yeah, it was just a spontaneous thought.
Now, Mr. Edgecomb, is there a reason why you didn't make it to Frozone on September 22nd of 2020?
Yes,
Yeah, because I popped a cap in someone's head. Never made it there after that. I decided it was much easier for me to go on the run. Bad boy.
Aborted the mission altogether as far as going there because I'm like, I didn't know what I was up against.
Yeah.
Like if there were containers in which the frozen yogurt came in, if it was big, if it was small, and I knew what I was up against as far as purchasing the dynamite. I knew what kind of containers, that consisted of, and I knew how much, I would be able to carry as far as with that. But I just aborted the mission altogether because I'm like, I'm not going to be able to carry this plus the dynamite as well. So I just aborted that altogether.
Okay. And what happened next?
So as I'm traveling eastbound on Brady, the traffic, it died down at this moment. I'm on the south side of Brady at this point. So as I abort the mission, cross over to the north side of Brady, and I'm headed westbound at this point.
Okay. And what happened
Stop saying it.
at this
Yeah,
point?
exactly.
Now you're going, is it eastbound on Brady?
I'm actually headed west now at this point because I aborted the mission. I'm headed westbound because I aborted the mission as far as just going to grab the frozen yogurt.
Looking good.
So I diverted from that plan altogether.
The mission.
So now you're going westbound on Brady Street, correct?
Yes.
And if you could tell the members of the jury what happens next.
So I'm traveling westbound on Brady.
Say it again. Say it again.
And I go, maybe I say about 5 feet, and all of a sudden I hear this horn blowing, brrr, and I see this car heading towards me. And I'm thinking that it's this, the vehicle that's headed towards me, that's blowing that horn at me. So I'm thrown off because I brace for impact, seeing this car headed towards me. So as I brace for impact, I'm learning that it isn't the car that's headed towards me that's blowing their horn loudly. It's them, it's the car that it was headed east, and this vehicle almost had a head-on collision with them. So as that vehicle swerves out from having a head-on collision, it's headed towards me, and it's traveling westbound on Brady, but it's in the eastbound lane, and it swerves over from having a head-on collision, and they're headed towards me. So I brace for impact. As I brace for impact, the vehicle just clips me, hits my pedal, hits my leg, and then also hits the handlebar, knocks me onto a parked car.
This guy just saved the war.
Thinking about that as that happens, I've been hit before.
But he aborted the mission. I aborted the mission. Abort, abort, abort.
I braced for impact and aborted the mission.
And I ejected from my seat.
There was no froyo that night.
No froyo that night, motherfucker.
A few years back in Florida, I was left in the middle of the street. My bike was mangled, severely injured. The police never got it.
Wait, your bike was mangled. You were severely injured, but we saw pictures of the bicycle in excellent condition. No damage. Sir. If your bike was severely mangled, you managed to pedal like 3 blocks to catch up to the car, to reach in to punch a guy, and then took off on the bicycle, jumped a curb, and took off. So your bike was mangled, really. See, this is the problem with liars is whenever you start punching holes in their story, like everything else falls apart. You're like, froyo. No daddy loving that night. Lacey's not going to get no.
Never found
action
out
from
who the
Daddy.
person was who did it, and they never found the vehicle. So all that resonated with me. And as I was hit,
Gross.
a gentleman yelled out the window, excuse my language, he says the N-word and, you know, get the F out of the street. He says it boisterously and boldly, you know. And
Boisterously, boldly.
in such insulting way that I couldn't fathom why this was even said to me. So when that was done, he said, you know, he
Go ahead,
said,
say it.
as he says,
You can say what he said, Mr. Edgecomb.
damn nigga, you can't drive, get the fuck out of the road. And there was an individual on the sidewalk who heard this and seen me get hit.
Where's that
And they're like,
individual?
whoa, you know, the nerve of that guy. And they asked me if I was okay. I said, yeah, I'm.
So where's that individual? Why didn't they come forward if they heard this? He would have been a witness to this accident, this travesty of calling you a
Hard
Just
R.
saying. Hey, numbskull, get out of the street, idiot. Shit, he's a rock star and fix it in 30 seconds with his superpowers. Yes. Because you cut him off, so he reacted. You should have left. Nothing you say defends unaliving someone for what they say. My point exactly.
I'm all right. Who is he speaking to? Why is he talking like that? I guess
Doesn't
he's
matter.
talking to me.
Mr. Edgecomb, how did that make you feel?
I was infuriated. I can't lie.
I was infuriated.
It brought back the trauma of when I was hit before. And that's all I could think about because I was left hurt in the middle of the street before. And I'm like, what if these individuals would have just, I could have been killed. You know, what if these individuals would have just killed me then? Then they insulted me. So it was like they had no remorse for what they had just done.
They
Had an
didn't
insult on
assault
top
you.
of, you know, injury. And I didn't understand it. In my mind, I'm like, maybe these people are drunk, you know, or something. And, you know,
I think he said
that's the only
insult.
reason I could think of a person throwing out an insult. And at that time, I
There it
didn't,
is.
you know, I was just trying to put it together as far as like, you know, why would someone do that? Or why would they, you know, be that bold in taking those actions?
So you're infuriated, correct, Mr. Edgecomb?
Yes.
What did you do next?
I proceeded west on Brady. I proceeded towards them. You know, like I said before, the vehicle that hit me years prior to this date, to that date in particular, that trauma resonated with me. So I'm like, I can't let them get away. I'm able to, you know, catch up to this individual at this point in time. And plus, I couldn't make out the vehicle directly because as they were headed towards me, all I seen
But
was
your
their
bike was
headlights. So
mangled.
it was like blinding me. And I
Destroyed.
just braced for impact. So upon them, like I said, I wasn't able to see the vehicle directly until they were headed off. And he yelled out the window and because I was bracing for impact.
Okay. And you mentioned that you tried to catch up with the vehicle, correct?
Yes.
Did you ever catch up with that vehicle on that evening?
Yes.
And what did you do
Obviously.
once you caught up with that vehicle?
When I
Well, I done the
came up to the passenger window, I actually was, you know, riding kind of fast, and you know, as I gathered myself, riding
It's a combination of
pretty
both.
fast, you know, headed to them.
Getting
Came up to the
angry.
passenger window and just asked him, hey, you know, were you guys talking to me? And
Why?
He
Why would
said,
you do
yes,
that?
nigga, and I punched him.
At this time, I want to now show would have been marked as state 35.
I don't buy
He's
his...
got a bad tell.
Yes.
There's something about like he does something with his lips that
Yeah.
Evidence control.
And we're going to show the video again.
You can go ahead and play, counsel.
Beginning, Your Honor.
Froyo disappoints for 1,000.
Ah. Damn it. Question is, things that didn't really happen.
Right. Right.
I'm going to stop right here, please, before we get going on. Now, Mr. Edgecomb, do you recognize this to be the Brady area which you were on September 22nd of 2020?
Yes.
Okay. Counsel, you can play, please.
You can play with it. Don't touch it.
Don't
hold
play
too
with it.
hard. Motorcycle. Car. Another car. Truck pulls out. And they're just driving along, normal speed like everybody else. Come up. Next car comes up because we're watching this in real time. I've got it sped up, so they're not really driving as fast as.
I want to stop right here, please, Counsel.
Why would you
Mr.
stop
Edgecomb, do you
right there?
recognize this vehicle?
Yes.
What do you recognize that vehicle?
Them's the sons of bitches
The vehicle
that
that
call
hit
me an
and
N-word.
also chased me down.
All right, Mr. Turn your mind if you continue, please.
Not which color. Don't be racist.
4.
Pink. Pink 8-ball for Nick.
I want to stop right here, please.
Stop at 116.
Do you recognize this individual right here, Mr. Edgecomb?
No.
It's not that clear to me.
Okay.
Where?
Let's play a little bit closer. Go a couple more seconds.
Right here.
Okay, stop right there.
Where? Oh, there.
Right here.
Mr. Edgecomb, do you recognize this person?
This is him.
Yes.
And who is that?
It is me.
Okay. Continue, mate.
Looking at 120.
What?
Rides up.
You stop right here.
Lion.
Are you talking
Now,
to
is this
me?
at the point where you indicated there was a conversation between
Oh,
you and
that-
the
he
individuals in
looks
this vehicle?
terrified.
Yes.
Yeah.
As I approached
Terrified.
him,
So
he
scary.
appeared flush red in his face, and it kind of confirmed, like, what I was thinking, like,
Meow.
yeah, this guy has to be intoxicated, as far as his boisterous tone, their demeanor, and then
His
they didn't
boisterous
even have
tone.
any remorse for hitting me at that point. He insulted
Because they didn't hit you.
No.
This is shit you've made up in your own mind.
He was
You
flying.
said they hit you. They ran you off the road, mangled your bike. They called you the N-word.
Ruined
They
froyo.
spit on you. They ruined your froyo. They made you spill your sushi. Oh, that's right. You hadn't got to get your sushi yet. They ruined daddy date night. They did all of the insulting things they could. So what did you do? You rode up next to him. You said, "What'd you say, And then you proceeded to hit the guy. And then run like a little bitch.
You don't aggressively go after somebody you're afraid of.
No. No.
me again, called me a nigger again, and
No, he didn't.
Now, let's continue at this point, Counsel.
Where are we playing? Council, make a record, please.
That was at 125 we began. And now it's at 127. Let's go back a couple seconds. Looking at 125.
Isaac.
If I had to guess, I could be wrong, but tell me if this sounds believable. Dude's riding down the wrong side of the road. He's swerving between lanes. He's jumping traffic. He's trying to get to wherever the hell he's going. He's probably been drinking or having a good time that night. And the only reason that he's packing is because he wants to make sure that nobody steals his GMC Denali bicycle. Because he spent a lot
That
of...
he found in somebody's yard.
Shh, we don't talk about that. He doesn't want anybody taking it from him. And I mean, he's having a beautiful evening. Like, he is on his way, and all of a sudden he comes swerving out in front of a car. They lock up, they hit their horn. He's just like, dude, what are you doing? And they proceed on their way. Well, because he's so pumped up, he's so worked up, that it's like any bit of slight is racist to him. And so he's just like, you know what? I ain't going to take that shit no more. Like, how dare they drive a car and I can't even get a license? He goes taking off after him, rides up next to him. It's like, are you talking to me? Maybe used a few expletives, and dude was just like, fuck off.
Right.
And about that time, he just reaches through the window and just clocks him. And realizes at that moment that he does it, shit, I'm going to get in trouble for this. And if they catch me, I'm going to get assault charges pressed against me. And so he takes off on his bicycle, going because all he had to do is just turn around and go the opposite way that he was coming from. He didn't have to continue on his way.
No.
But he's not thinking clearly at this point. So he jumps on his bicycle. He's like, well, if I jump down this little side road, I can get away from him. He jumps off his bike, starts walking it over there, and he's having difficulty because he's hyped up right now. He's got that flight instinct. Like, he is in total flight mode because he's scared shitless because he knows what he did wrong. Dude jumps out of his car. He's just like, hey, who in the hell are you? What's going on? And as he's coming up, because he's in such a panic, he reaches back to his firearm, pulls out the pistol, and deletes the guy. And then because he knows now I'm in really big trouble, I've got to make myself scarce, and takes off again. And that's whenever he goes on the run. Now, I could be wrong. I'm just making shit up. But does it sound more plausible, that situation, or does it sound more plausible that they ran him off the road, intentionally ran into a car, called him the N-word, destroying his bicycle, putting a fear into him so that he goes and chases a bicycle up to him, and the guy calls him the N-word again. That's why he hits him, and then he takes off. I mean, it just makes no sense. I mean...
No, it doesn't make sense.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there.
Stopping at 129.
So is that the punch that you just described that you,
I don't think so.
rendered on the individual in the vehicle?
I think
Yes.
he had...
Now,
I
Mr.
think he
Edgecomb, what are
has
you doing
anger
now?
issues.
I'm getting away from the situation altogether. I don't want
A situation you created. Like, that's a bitch move, to ride up to somebody, punch them through the window, and then take off like a little bitch. Like if you're going to do that because somebody, insulted you, you take your swing, throw down your bike, and go, step out. MFer, step out. You had something to say to me a minute ago. Got a problem? Let's go. Why would you take off running? Bitch move.
any more
So,
to do with
did-
this. I'm focused
did you
on
just punch
getting
him, or
back
he
home.
punched
to
him and then
continue
shot
on my
him?
daddy.
Do what?
So he punched him and shot him all in that frame? I mean,
No, he punched
deleted
him. No, he punched him and then took off on his bike. The
Okay.
car went and followed him. The guy that got punched got out of the vehicle and started walking towards him, and then picked up pace as he was getting towards him. He could have even been in a run to like catch the guy. He's an attorney, the guy that got punched. He's an immigration attorney, the guy that got punched. And so I would imagine that him getting out of the car was to get a good look at this guy, to figure out who he is, so he can turn him into the cops for an assault.
Gotcha.
You know, I don't think that he was looking to actually get into a fist fight or an altercation. I think he wanted to see who the guy was so he could turn him into the cops. And because he didn't have his glasses on, he couldn't see who it was.
Daughter date night, get back home to my children safely.
All right. And continue, counsel.
Playing at 129.
And I'm gonna stop right there.
Stopping at 133.
Now, Mr. Edgecomb, did you observe any actions by any individuals in the vehicle?
Yes.
Yeah, like junior high.
Upon my
Fight
approach,
you after school.
Well, at that particular time in the video, I heard the
Man, you know how many fights I got in after school? Like 2. That was it. And I went to a primarily black school. It didn't matter. I mean, you talk some crap to somebody, they talk crap back. You would get in an argument. You didn't see eye to eye, and at the end of the altercation, either they beat the hell out of you, you beat the hell out of them, and then you'd walk away, and you'd go, okay, I'm not going to say that shit anymore because it was really stupid. Or you would apologize and get the fuck over it. I mean, there was a lot of animosity because, here you got this white kid in your class, but, it didn't matter. I didn't look at anybody as being black or white. It was just like, I looked at him as, well, that guy's bigger than me. He'd probably kick my ass. I may not want to mess with him.
Right.
Or looking at the little guy, I could probably kick his ass and then find out really quick that guy really kick your ass fast. Like, he is fast. No, I got in fights like after school, during his class. It didn't matter. I mean, we got in fights all the time. But we also we didn't disrupt the rest of the class in doing it. It was like, I'll meet you after school. We'll see how this goes. And sometimes people would just run like chickens. They would just be like, I don't want to be around it. Oh, I didn't want to have to hurt you. Or they got over it and realized that they were in the wrong and were just like, yeah, I'm not gonna get in a fight with this guy. There's no point.
The door open. I look back, and during this time, I'm like, oh, this guy's trying to get out and get me or something.
Yeah, you're always
He's trying to
bigger
get
and
chased.
smarter.
So that's what made me even, get away from them altogether even more.
Okay. continue playing. And, for the record, I think that concludes any relevant acts on this particular exhibit.
We stopped at 145.
Fine.
Now, Mr. Edgecomb, now you said that you were riding off at this point, right?
Yes.
All right, and you indicated your state of mind at this point, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what were you thinking at the time that you left this time?
I just wanted to be done with this altercation altogether. Be done with it. I had no more business with them. Like, no business at all with them.
Oh no, I assaulted him and
And I
then
just
ran.
was focused at this point just to, get away safely, make it back home safely. I didn't even want to be in that altercation. I was focusing on my daddy-daughter date night. I just wanted to get back home to my children.
Mr. Edgecomb, you punched the guy, didn't you?
Yes, I take responsibility for that. If I would have known now, if I would have known
But you
then what I
wouldn't
know
take
now,
responsibility for
I
shooting
wouldn't have
him?
punched the guy. I would have just accepted being hit and called a nigger and just not even approached him.
I figured
So,
out what it is.
where are you going
it's
at
like
this
a little
time? No, Mr.
snake.
Edgecomb.
Like a little
At this
snake
time, I'm on the
tongue
Holton
thing
Street
he
Bridge
does.
and I'm on an incline, headed up the bridge. The bridge is an incline, so I'm headed up the bridge at this point.
Okay. At this time, I want to now show what would have been marked as defense 25. All right, we're now showing what has been marked as defense 25, the clarified Zoom sequence video. Now, Mr. Edgecomb, at this time, do you recognize the individual that's behind the Reinhardt vehicle?
Yes,
Who do you recognize that individual to be?
it's me.
Bob, he's a son of
Now,
a buck.
what
Looks
intersection
just
are you
like
approaching
me.
at this point?
That's Holton and Brady.
Okay. Counsel, you can continue.
Only got 2 seconds. But, actually, we'll go by the timestamp. Your Honor, in the bottom right, it shows 0.0.
And what exhibit is it again?
This is exhibit D25.
Fine.
Okay, you recognize this individual to be you, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, I want to stop right here.
Looking at 3.37.
Now, you just took a right turn, correct?
Yes.
Is there a reason why you changed direction at this point?
I wanted to evade the situation altogether. Plus, I knew I had food that I was waiting on, so I would just go around the block and come back up to the restaurant. But I was getting away from this situation in which I had just ensued. And plus, I heard the door open. As I look back, so I'm like, I hope I'm in my mind, I'm like, I hope this guy isn't getting out to try to get.
Yeah, I know. The words are difficult for him. Words are difficult for him.
Hit me or something.
Now, Mr. Edgecomb, on this video, are you standing up on the bike at this point?
Yes.
Can you
What does it
explain to the
matter?
members of the jury why are you standing up on the bike?
Well, because, I had pulled the seat off because I knew that it was starting to hurt on the bottom.
Right.
I didn't have enough lubrication on there. I hadn't worked up enough sweat to be able to slide back onto the post properly.
He was confident.
On that bridge, there's an incline. So, just to give myself a little bit more power. And plus, I'm trying to get away. I'm trying to get away from this situation, get away from them, these individuals.
I'm trying to run. Man, I just
Okay.
hit a guy. That's
Right.
assault. I'm
Why are
going
you
to
worried
jail.
about the bridge if you're just going to circle back and get your food?
Yeah.
Was whom just had hit me, and we had an altercation in which they had no remorse for.
No, you had an altercation with him. He didn't have an altercation with you. You attacked this man. I mean, that's,
How does he know they didn't have remorse for what had happened? How does he know that right now?
well, they're letting him burn himself.
So I just wanted to, just get away as quick as I can from these individuals.
Running like an MF.
Counsel, you continue.
Claim where we left out 3.37.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
he
stop right
uses
here.
it quite often.
Now, Mr.
doesn't
Edgecomb, I
he?
see, where are you located at on this part of the road at this time?
At the bottom of the hill in the bike lane.
Do you normally travel in the bike lane, Mr. Edgecomb?
Yes.
If you could press continue going forward.
Claim at 4.458.
I want to stop right here. Now, do you recognize that vehicle that just turned the corner, Mr. Edgecomb?
Yes.
At the time, what did you recognize this vehicle to be?
The vehicle that had hit me previously and that I pulled up to the passenger side of.
And no marks on the vehicle. If the car had hit him or he'd hit the car, there would have been a mark on that car. There would have been
Oh, I
a
forgot.
handlebar
The
mark.
bike was mangled previously.
Yeah, the bike was mangled. There would have
Okay.
been scratches all
Forgot.
down the side of the car. There would have been a dent in it. There would have. I've been hit by a car, and trust me, on a bicycle, it leaves marks on the car. Well, mostly my blood, but that was different.
All right. And did you observe anything prior to this vehicle making a right turn?
Yes. The loud roaring of their motor, tire screeching. All I could hear
Tire
was
screeching.
vroom, like these individuals were chasing me down. They were trying to hit me. I knew this deliberately now at this point.
Deliberately.
I became even fear, came over me, as I
Fear.
heard that. Ahmaud Arbery resonated in my mind because I'm like, these people are hunting me down now at this point.
Yeah.
The what resonated in his mind?
Arbery, the
Oh.
the kid
Oh.
that pulled the firearm out of the police officer's holster, and
Right.
and then the police officer shot him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy right there. Yeah, so far he's mentioned Breonna Taylor, he's mentioned Ahmaud Arbery, he's
St.
mentioned
Floyd.
Yeah. Yeah, George
Sorry.
Floyd. It's
Now they're becoming more bold with what they're trying to do to me. So as far as like hunting me down, and even if, like I said, they didn't show any remorse then for hitting me, now I know.
no wait, Arbery was the one in Georgia that got chased down by the cop, the
Was
ex-cop.
the dad and his son, right? I thought.
Yeah.
Right.
After Arbery was caught breaking into a house and they chased him
Getting
down.
I thought he was getting water. I don't know. Maybe that was the story. I don't know.
No,
I didn't follow that one. I was like, I gave up after at a certain point.
he decided to go for a slight jog, about 23 miles from his home,
Mhm.
into a house that was being rebuilt, and yeah.
Yeah, I think I do remember that.
Yeah. Now I'm not saying that the people were right. They should have not chased the dude down. They should have just called the cops and just kept an eye on him. But yeah, that was
Didn't go that way.
That was a bad scene. Bad scene.
Even if they didn't know that they had hit me, now I know that they're deliberately and intently trying to hit me now.
Oh yeah. Goes full
And
retard.
so if you could continue playing the video at this point.
Judge, just for the record, the timestamp is no longer viewable in this Zoom sequence, so I'm going to refer to the later than, which shows 16 seconds.
Fine.
Playing at 16.
I'm gonna stop right there. Now, Mr. Edgecomb, you just told the jury you were in a bike lane, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, Mr. Edgecomb, are you in a bike lane at this specific frame of the video?
No.
Can you explain to the members of the jury why did you go from being in a bike lane to now being on what appears to be a sidewalk at this point?
Well, I can point out why he did, because if he was really trying to get away, he would have jumped on this and taken this little path all the way down. But see, he was trying to get away, not expecting that they were going to follow him. Because if he was just trying to get away, he would have taken this little bike path all the way down here. Yeah, they don't explain that this is a sidewalk that goes below. No, he decided to run over here and then jump up this way and go down, then run down the stairs. So if he would have gone down this little sidewalk right here, that little sidewalk, he would have been able to avoid them. But he didn't realize that they were going to follow after him. That's why I call bullshit. Yeah, that's what this is. This goes up and around, and then there's a staircase. So if you come over here, you can go down this little staircase and end up in the same spot.
Gotcha.
So yeah, he never took this little path. If he was really trying to get away because he didn't want to have any part of it, that's the way he would have gone. But he wasn't thinking, because he's an idiot.
Jury, why did you go from being in a bike lane to now being on what appears to be a sidewalk at this point?
I did that because I was escaping from being hit.
Escaping from being
As I
hit.
got on the sidewalk, I was fearful, in fear of my life.
Fear.
I knew that these individuals were not, that they were deliberately trying to hit me. I accept responsibility, for punching Mr. Cleereman. I was infuriated for that. Shouldn't have happened. as they were chasing me down, though, I became in fear of my life. I never felt that, amount of fear ever. And so I just wanted to just get away from them altogether. Just proceeding to some way, somehow, just get away from them.
So, Mr. Edgecomb, at this particular part of the video, you're saying you're trying to get away, correct?
Yes.
What options are you considering at this very moment?
At that very moment, my options were pretty much limited. I'm just focusing on, just getting away. Not really thinking too much, but, just seeing as to where I can go, seeing, how I can get away from these individuals. As I get on the curb, the reason I got on the curb is because I seen them heading towards me. And I'm thinking if I get on the sidewalk, they'll at least tear up their vehicle before they hit me. So that was my reasoning as to, jumping on the sidewalk in that instant, because they were headed directly towards me. They were so close, in fact, that I could feel the heat of the engine on my backside. And
They were so close. He could feel the heat of the engine on his backside.
Okay.
They were not that close.
Seems like they stopped and he dropped the bike and ran. Right?
No, he grabbed the bike because you don't want to drop that GMC Denali bicycle.
Oh, I didn't see him pick it up. I just saw him run off.
Oh yeah, he ran with the bicycle.
It's not the best. It's not the best video.
No, it isn't. I know self-defense terminology, but not directions. My daughter's name. Who are you again? Where am I? What is I? I forgot my sushi and my froyo.
I just knew, I thought I knew I was going to be killed. That was what was resonating in me. I was in fear, I was in shock, so I'm still just trying to get away from them.
Counsel, if you can play the video starting at this point.
Starting at 19 seconds.
No, you just didn't expect a
stop right
6 foot
there.
plus man to step out of
Now,
the car. It was going to whoop
It's a
your
little bit
ass.
grainy here. We can go back a couple seconds.
Start at 24. I'm going back to.
Okay, right there is pretty good. So,
Oh, feel
Mr.
the
Edgecomb,
heat.
at the time that
All the heat of the engines right
this frame
on.
is in the video, what did you observe? What were you aware of? What was your state of mind at this time?
Does it really
I'm
matter?
still at the whole time I was in fear. I see the opening, open landing. I'm like, I got to get down these stairs. I got to get down these stairs.
Get down.
And, get away from these individuals.
Get down.
And
get
as I see the landing and opening,
Those
I'm like, I
panties
don't think that they'll drive on this sidewalk and driving this, driving here. They can't be that bold. I know for sure, like, they're going to tear up their vehicle trying to get to me. So I was, in the mind frame of just trying to get away from them altogether.
Now, at this time, are you aware that there's somebody behind you at this point?
Shit.
At that particular time, no.
Now, if we can continue playing at this point. All right, stop right there, please.
Stopping at 25 seconds.
So, what did we just see, Mr. Edgecomb?
Objection, Your Honor. As to what he saw, fine, but asking him to see what we saw in the video.
No, okay.
What did he see or what did he observe is fine.
What did you see or observe, Mr. Edgecomb?
I heard someone yelling out at this point, I'm going to kill you, nigger. I'm going to kill you, nigger.
Now, just to be clear, at this point, you have now turned right into a particular
AMG.
area, correct?
Hey,
Yes.
MG.
All right. Now,
What is up?
what options were you considering after you took that right into this area? Can you describe that area that you,
shit.
turned into?
Shit.
Yes, it was a landing stairwell. I was considering jumping over the banister. When I looked over, it was too far of a jump. I'm like, no, I'm not going to make that. My first option, though, was to go down the stairwell with my bike to just get away from him altogether. As I'm hearing, I'm going to kill you, nigger. I'm going to kill you, nigger. I can't make it.
Stop
down the
saying
stairwell
that.
in time because I hear the voice getting louder and louder. So I'm like, where is this coming from? And I'm
It's
He got
coming
real
from your-
comfortable.
He's got a little demon sitting on his shoulder just saying, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you.
like, I didn't want to turn my back, to a threat either, because I knew that these individuals had just tried to hit me. So I'm hearing this voice, getting louder and louder,
what
as
is
I get
up?
off my bike and before I proceed to go down the stairwell.
Hey, Big Johnson.
Hey, BJ.
Now, Mr. Edgecomb, can you describe the size of this stairwell? Is it a big stairwell? Is it small? How many feet would you estimate this stairwell to be that you're currently in at this moment?
Oh, it's like 20
It's a
feet.
small box,
Small box.
probably. I don't think two people could fit in that stairwell. Like in feet, I would say like maybe like 4 or 5 feet, like across.
Would you consider it comparable to the witness box that you're in right now?
Yes,
It's
that's
exactly
a
like
pretty
this.
accurate, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty accurate measure. It's almost precise.
How did you know?
So you're in this box, I mean, you're in the stairwell at this time, and you're saying that you're hearing something now. You're in the stairwell now, you're hearing something, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What are you hearing?
I'm gonna kill you, nigga. I'm gonna kill.
Will you stop saying that? Because he said that at least 20 damn times. All right.
Excuse
I'm
my
try-
language, Your Honor.
I don't agree with the language that he's using, and this channel does not endorse it. These are not my words. These are his words.
Kill you, nigga.
Can we continue
And he
playing the
says it
video?
again,
We'll get 25 seconds.
just to spite you.
Stop, please.
Stopping at 29.
Now, you indicated that a voice got louder and louder. Is that right?
Yes, it was louder. It was boisterous. It seemed like it was
Boisterous.
coming closer and closer.
Now, I know it's a bit grainy at this frame, but did you hear anything coming from this vehicle that is parked with the
The
flashes
heat
on?
of the engine is on my backside.
I seen the vehicle pull up, and as I seen them pull up, I looked at the vehicle, and I didn't see. As the vehicle pulled up, it was probably like a split second. The gentleman came around the corner, and he met me right head on, so he startled me, and I thought he was in the vehicle. I didn't even know that he was, chasing me, he was chasing me at this point.
Okay. And you said that you appeared
Met you
startled.
head on from behind.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how did you react to being startled by the gentleman that was approaching you at this
When
point?
your head's up your ass, that's what happens.
Upon him startling me and coming around the corner, I put my hand up and I told him, "Hey, stop! Don't come closer." He told me, "I'm gonna kill you now, nigga." And upon him doing that, I heard Miss Cleereman yell out, "He's got a gun!" And yeah,
So just to be clear, at the time that you put your hand out
who
saying,
yelled what?
"Stop!
I'm
Don't come any
sorry.
closer," did you have a weapon brandished at this point?
yes, I had my firearm out. It was at waist level. I didn't have it like up. I just had it, down. It was drawn, but it wasn't like pointed.
Okay. Can you
So, in the amount of time that you jumped off your bicycle and you were trying to get down this thing, you pulled your firearm out. Okay. So, I'm trying to get his timeline right because, okay, punches dude, takes off, feels the heat of the engine on his backside. So he jumps off onto the curb. And he's running to get down these stairs. He's really concentrated on
with his
running.
bike.
With
Running
his bike.
with his bike.
With his bike. And then, the whole time this car is on his tail, and he knows that they're going to wreck if they go up on the curb. And then all of a sudden, he's carrying the firearm. I'm just
But holding it low.
holding. He's got the firearm down low, but
He's
he's
sure
holding
about
his
that.
bike. He's trying to get down. Maybe if you didn't have the firearm, you were trying to get down the stairs, you could have gotten away.
Maybe.
But you had your firearm out for a reason. And I don't think it was because they used the N-word on you, brother. Gotta make it across. I think it
Can
gets
you describe what you mean at waist level? I mean, as you sit there.
Yes, it was just down at my side. I had just drawn it. I had just taken it out of a holster, and it was just still at my waist.
Okay. Now, at any time, did you ever take this firearm and extend your whole arm toward the individual that was coming across to you?
No. In fact, I kept it at waist level.
Okay, so he's got a hold of his bicycle. He's got a hold of the firearm. He puts his hand out and tells the guy to stop. And he's got it at waist level. Where's his bike?
He's just got it on his shoulder.
Oh, he's got it wrapped around his shoulder. No, stop. Stop calling me that.
Yeah, I just kept it at waist level.
And what was your intent? You're brandishing a firearm at a gentleman that's coming towards you. What was your intent at this time?
Yeah, let's find out what your intent is. Well, if you're going to pull it, you might as well use it.
I didn't have any intent. This gentleman actually took one large step and lunged toward me like he was going to tackle me. And I took a step back. And as I stepped back, it was a...
Oh, he's saying he hip drew it. He pulled it from
Yeah.
his hip.
It's here. Yeah.
So
at
it's
his
down.
waist.
He just swung it up really quick. So he's standing there and he just all of a sudden whipped it up like this. It didn't extend out his hand to like as the video shows. No, he did it. He did a hip shot and got him right between the eyes. Cause I'm good, man. I'm good.
The reaction from that, the firearm just went off. And
Wow.
So that means you had one in the chamber. Speaking of one in the chamber, there's nothing like that.
Touchdown. Paper? Unbreaded.
Got all the hotties on here tonight.
Hey, Big Johnson, how are you?
Hey, BJ.
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. I want to edit your mic settings because you're really super low. There we go. Say something for me. Are you on the right microphone?
My bad.
It happens.
I was playing the stream and I forgot to close out of the YouTube tab. Sorry, guys.
So good to see you.
Good to see you guys too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Figure I'm doing traffic school online, so might as well have some fun with you guys while I'm stuck at my computer.
Exactly.
Oh, what did you do?
Red light camera ticket.
Oh, we don't have those anymore here.
They're everywhere here and they're brutal. They get me.
Yuck.
How are you guys?
Good.
I'm feeling pretty good tonight. No pain yet.
Well, that's good.
2 crimes committed to a bare minimum. Yeah.
And with him lunging towards me, I didn't know if he was going after the firearm, if he was coming after me or what, but I know from his words and his actions, his boisterous tone, he told me, I'm going to kill you now.
I thought he was going to say it again.
The one time he doesn't.
He's going to say it again. He just can't resist because this is.
So
I
with that,
don't
didn't
think
have no
he
reason
knows
to doubt
what boisterous means.
No.
Man, his actions, his demeanor, his tone, with them just previously hitting me, with the second incident upon me, punching him, he told me, he did.
He's going to say it again. I know he is. Damn it. He's going to say it. Just go ahead.
Didn't have any remorse for hitting me the first time.
Now, Mr. Edgecomb, did you ever notice the gentleman getting any type of stance?
$4.99 says there's a glory hole behind the massive BJ slide over.
Oh,
Damn it. Shame on you.
Or position at the time he faced you in that stairwell?
Yes. As he was in the stands, before he got in the stands, I observed 2 other possible threats. There was a vehicle that came up behind them. I'm thinking that these individuals were with them, that they were all trailing each other in caravan style, that these individuals were with them. So I could hear, noise. I could hear him, I heard him yelling, but I could also hear other noise behind them. So I'm thinking, all these individuals are together. They're possibly going to get out the car, either shoot me, also join them, in trying to attack me, cause harm or danger to me as well.
Now, Mr. Edgecomb, is the vehicle that we see in this frame, is this the second vehicle that you believed or perceived was a threat that you just testified to?
Yes.
All right. And you didn't observe anybody get out that vehicle at any point, correct?
I was fixated on the direct threat that was in front of me because I just perceived them at this point to be threats. The direct threat was right in front of me, and he branded, he raised his hands, drawing up from his midsection, so it appeared that he had an object in his hand. And at this point, I couldn't tell what the object
Has an object in his hand.
I thought it was a dance move.
was because I wasn't fixated on it. I was assessing, different things at this time. 2 possible threats from the vehicle. One that was in front of me, in which I, first, tried to escape forward into, and and this other threat that was behind that vehicle, possibly in that car.
Escape forward into. That's...
Yep.
So, Mr. Edgecomb, you're testifying that you perceived something to be in the gentleman's hand as he was in a boxer stance. Is that your testimony?
Yes.
And you're saying that you couldn't tell what that object was?
No, I couldn't at all. And as he was in the stance, he lunged right towards me, so I couldn't make it out what it was or what it could possibly be at that point. It all happened so quickly. And like I said, I was observing the other possible threats too that were in the vicinity. He was just a direct imminent threat. The other two, I was, going back and forth, so I couldn't just fixate on what the object was. As he was in the stance, you could see him holding something, but I couldn't see exactly what it was. He just took it.
Guys, if you're ever holding your hands like this to fight, you're gonna,
Like those little-
you don't know how to fight.
It's like that little plastic game, sock and boppers or whatever. You're spinning.
His lunch and
Mr. Edgecomb, what would you say the time frame was from the time that you see the gentleman get into a boxer stance, but what you perceive to be an object, to the time frame when he's lunging at you? How long did that take?
it was less than a half a second. It was just all instant. Even upon when he came around the corner and seeing the vehicle in front of me, it's like they all met. It was like I was met with all of this at the same time, because I still, as the vehicle pulled up, I thought he was in the vehicle. So once I seen him outside the vehicle, I didn't even know he got out the vehicle.
The video play at this point, please.
Playing at 29 seconds.
No, because you were waiting on him. You're waiting on him.
I want to stop right here. Mr. Edgecomb.
Mr. Edgecomb, you clearly have your arm extended out as you're putting the pistola in his face and about to end his life.
I think it's just bad video.
It is bad video.
Is this where the gentleman got in the boxer stance? Was this the general vicinity of what you described?
Yes, that's also where he, took the lunge at me, like he was going to tackle me or go for my weapon at this point.
No.
And you indicated in your testimony that there was a big step that he took, correct? Is this the big step that you're talking about in this frame right here?
Yes.
Where was your gun at this particular time?
I still had it at waist level, drawn.
He had it at waist level, drawn. But he had to bring it all the way up, from waist level up, to put it to his head, to put it through his eye. In other videos, it actually shows his arm fully extended.
And when he did take that large step towards me, it was just a reaction, and the gun just went off, and his head was perceived like in the downward, like he was
hours of the night,
like tackle me or spear me, or like I said, even going for the weapon. But it seemed as though he wanted to harm me. He wanted to cause harm or go for my weapon at that point.
Now, counsel, you can play the video from this point.
Playing at 32 seconds.
Go ahead and continue. Stop right there. Is that the...
Yeah, at this point, he has the firearm pulled all the way out. At this point, he has the firearm pulled all the way out. He has got the gun pointed at his head, and he pulls the trigger. When he pulls the trigger, dude falls forward because he is deleted instantly.
The lunge that you described to the members of the jury?
Yes, as that was done, though, I took a step back, and that's when the gun went off.
Yeah, because taking a step back always makes
point,
the gun go off.
Continue playing at this point.
Playing at 41 seconds.
Okay, stop right there. Now, did we just see you kind of take a step back and kind of back up?
Date night.
Yes.
Shame on you.
Continue playing at this point, please.
Playing at 47 seconds.
But get shamed.
All right.
Stuffed your sock on Dottie date night.
All right, we can stop here.
Yeah.
Stopping at 1-1.
Now, Mr. Edgecomb, immediately after this,
You ran.
altercation that you just had in the stairwell, how did you feel after this gunshot went off?
I was in shock. I couldn't believe it. Immediately,
Shock.
like, during that shock,
During that.
No, I
goes with the
still, I
snake
look back,
tongue.
I assessed the other threats too, because
Yep.
had,
Here it
just
comes.
known, first it was this vehicle that was trying to hit me, so I didn't know, like, if the individual in this vehicle, would shoot out at me from the vehicle, if they had gotten out, or if the other people were actually behind Mr. Cleereman at this point, and if they were coming towards me. So, but yeah, I was just in total shock.
What did you do next?
Next, I assessed, to see if I could get down the stairwell safely, and I was able to, because the imminent threat was, there was no direct imminent threat anymore, and the other threats that I perceived to be like they weren't coming directly at me, so I knew then, I can get away safely, make it back home to my children.
Mr. Edgecomb, you didn't stay on the scene. You grabbed the bike, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And your testimony is that you ran down the stairs at this point?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Edgecomb, did you feel like your actions were justified in this instance?
Jeez, Zach.
In that instant, I was in total shock. I really, yeah, I was just in total shock at, everything that had just
I'm
taken
sorry, I
place.
didn't know if that would actually work.
It's so wrong. It's so wrong. Yes, it's so bad.
Do you feel like you were defending yourself at this moment?
Yes, I definitely was defending myself from being harmed. I was just previously harmed. I was hit off my bike, chased down. So, at this, individual lunging towards me.
Well, Mr. Edgecomb, if you felt like you were defending yourself, why did you feel the need to run at this point?
Oh, I had, a white man had just been shot, and I was just getting,
What's that
chased
have to
down
do
by
with
them.
anything?
I
You
was
shot him.
still just, in shock. I couldn't believe the whole situation altogether.
Yeah. No remorse.
I ran because I didn't think anyone would believe, anything as far as what had just taken place. And
7
plus, I
inches
still
makes
was
you
in fear.
really big.
So I just wanted to get away from the dangers altogether. I didn't know if there were, if, like I said, these individuals were still chasing after me, or going to still be chasing after me.
Okay, so at some point or another on September 22nd, where did you go?
Damn it. Did Shizzy card this BJ? Just looking out for you, brother. That's your jailbait. Save your life, marriage, not repeat after Nancy R. Just say no. Just say no to BJ's. No.
Oh,
Say yes to BJ.
can't say no to a
Immediately
BJ.
after this incident.
Exactly. You have to say yes to a BJ. I mean, come on. How else are you going to get her pregnant? Come on.
No.
Right after this incident, I headed back home, which where I was staying at the time.
Does this one
on
work?
Dawsman. Yeah,
And did you feel safe when you made it home?
I didn't. I was still fearful. I left there. I was frightened. I kissed my children. Everyone was kind of, puzzled, by my actions, because, it was, hey, where's the food? Daddy, daughter date night. I just gathered a few things and left. My mindset, at this point, I gotta, get away, and, figure out this whole thing that just had transpired. And in doing so, I didn't want to put my family in any harm or danger. And I knew at this point, like, I would be in danger or, in some kind of trouble. I didn't think anyone would believe this situation. As far as me explaining it to them, I didn't think anyone would believe it if I told it to them.
That's true.
Yeah, because you're fucking lying.
Nailed it.
Yes, nobody believes a liar. Oh.
He's not gonna have any daddy.
The next day, did you turn yourself in, Mr. Edgecomb, or go to the police and
Yeah.
explain what?
Every time he says daddy daughter date night, it just sounds dirty.
Dirty daddy daughter date night.
Oh,
Yes.
it's just like, no, that's because every time it's like, oh, but she acted so mature. It's like, that's not how you.
It's not
view
helping.
That's not how you view your daughter. Oh, she was so mature. She was helping the little ones, like potty training them and all kinds of stuff. Man, she would have made a good baby
They were
mom.
potty training because they were just starting their lives.
He said that about his kids?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's got away with words, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not very boisterous, though.
What a wealthy.
What happened?
No,
A week from that point, did you go to the police station and explain what happened?
no,
Over a 6-month period of time, Mr. Edgecomb, did you ever go to the police and explain what happened?
no. But I did make
It's like,
strides
that's
as far as seeking legal representation. I was also in fear, even after.
Let your attorney ask the questions, please. Go ahead, counsel.
So, Mr. Edgecomb, you just explained to the members of the jury for over 6 months. You felt like you acted in defense, and you're telling them that you were scared. Explain to them, what you were scared of over this period of time.
That I was going to get caught with my daughter and we were going to be doing some body training. I don't know. I just needed to get home to the children. Son, you shot a guy in the face after you punched him in the face. It wasn't enough that you're not believable. I mean, if the dude calls you that, what right does it give you to ride up alongside him and punch him in the face?
Yeah. Sticks and stones, like when the degree you have to go to prove that you acted in self-defense is so high, you can't claim a word caused you to fear for your life, in my opinion, especially when you got a punch in.
Yeah,
If
you're chasing someone down, you're not fearing for your life.
No.
If you're chasing someone down to confront them, you're not fearing for your life.
Yeah.
Not getting a fair, not being heard fairly. Getting fair proceedings on my behalf, not being heard straight out. No one understanding, what had transpired. Who would believe from what I gathered?
Who's going to believe someone that is a 3-time felon was acting in self-defense? I mean, I would find it hard to believe. It seems like he's more of the aggressor in these situations.
Over the days that were passing, like this, this was an attorney, a prominent attorney. I didn't even know that he had died until days later.
Yes.
He shot someone in the head and he didn't know they died days
Later, what did you hear about this incident?
Yeah.
Did you, as far as the way that the case was put out in the media and information that you kind of learned over time?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, you indicated that you didn't know that he was even an attorney until a couple of days later, correct?
Yes.
All right. What other information did you learn about the situation or about how you were being perceived as immediately following this incident?
I had also learned that law enforcement had put out that I was the Brady Street killer. Not anything, speculated about, but that from any particular citizen or something. It was law enforcement that put out that I was the Brady Street killer.
Did that make you more fearful of turning yourself into law enforcement based off of learning that?
Sure, it should have.
Even with the injustices that's going on,
You
and that
should
go on
turn
in
yourself
society.
into different law enforcement.
Even with the injustices.
With being here, in Wisconsin, which has a largely black mass incarceration rate, I didn't feel like I would be hurt.
Black mass incarceration rate. I didn't realize they were doing black mass again. When did that come in? Are they doing? Are they incarcerating people for doing black mass? Damn it! Ask the Rivers by Indiana. Yes. Climb up there, Ducky. You guys talk too much. You're ruining my personal time with Rosalind and her sexy shoulders.
Ducky.
There's a reason why they call him Bad Duck. I'm just saying.
Heard out as far as my side, as far as what had taken place on that date in September 22nd.
Now, is it true, Mr. Edgecomb, that at some point over the course of these 6 months that you actually went outside of state lines? Isn't that right?
Yes,
Yeah, I went outside of several state lines. Get the heff away because I done screwed up really bad. He screwed up really bad. He knows it.
That is true.
Why would you feel it necessary to go outside of the state of Wisconsin?
Because I'm an idiot.
I had to get away from the state altogether. Also, too, I just needed to get in contact with other relatives and whom could help me. I didn't want to talk over the phone, so I felt I could possibly meet up with them in person to seek or get some kind of legal representation or finances to help me to get legal representation.
Okay, so let's go here. Where did you go? You went out of state. Tell the members of the jury where you went.
I went to Georgia.
And what's in Georgia?
My father.
At the time, did you feel like your father?
So he went from Wisconsin to Georgia. Okay.
Because the incarceration rate is better in Georgia.
No, of course. So he went to Georgia, asked his old man for some money. And if I'm not mistaken, his old man might have given him some money, or maybe his old man didn't. It doesn't matter. Then he left Georgia and got pulled over in Kentucky. And that's whenever they discovered who he was and arrested him. And then had him extradited back to Wisconsin. He had no intention of returning back to Wisconsin at all. You don't seek legal representation in Georgia. Why would you be heading to Georgia to seek legal representation?
No.
Maybe you should take
Stay out of Fulton County.
Yeah.
Could offer up or potentially offer up some resources to help you retain legal counsel at this time?
Yes, but I never was able to meet up with them. So yeah.
Did you go to any other family members out of state?
I contacted them, but I never was able to, meet up with them at all.
Okay.
No,
Have you had
because
any
they told you to
communications
stay
with
the
anyone,
F away.
locally in Milwaukee to try to get legal representation on your behalf?
Yes. It was like over a course of like maybe like every other day, I would contact my fiance Ruby Mizell, and she would, just try to get and seek out legal counsel for me.
Uh-huh.
And did you or Ms. Mizell ever get in contact with legal counsel on your behalf?
Yes.
And what were you told from legal counsel once upon getting in contact with?
I was quoted different prices.
Well, you just have to be careful of BJs while you're driving. That can always cause accidents. And if it's a bad enough accident, well, let's just say teeth. Bad thing. Then it's no more. Then it's no Johnson.
From $50,000 to $140,000, as far as these individuals and them, as far as them representing me.
Judge Combs, did you have the resources to pay $50,000 to $140,000 to get legal counsel at the time?
Doesn't matter. You could have got a public defender. Wait, you saying public defenders suck as lawyers? Is that what you're saying?
Sounds like it.
But you also have to understand, most public defenders have been doing public defenders longer than a lot of other lawyers. There's a reason why they do it. It doesn't make them bad or good. It is what it is. They know a little bit of the ins and outs of proper filings. They also know how to make a deal. And they also wouldn't let this kind of bullshit fly. That's why it didn't work for them.
That was my reasoning, for contacting other family members and, going out of state and possibly meeting up with them, because I, knew I don't think no one would understand from my point of view, would understand over the phone. I felt like I needed to be in front of these individuals in order for them to understand the purposes and why I needed, this financial help. And plus I had a GoFundMe prior to that, a couple GoFundMes that were set up, they were taken down due to,
Yeah, because you can't
it
use
says
those
that
for legal
they
defense.
don't take care of criminal defense matters anymore. Everyone's monies were refunded to them, but that also became a setback for me, and it, increased the time span in which.
Why is he bitching about getting funding to put up a defense? Like,
It's
really?
all the injustices.
The tooth, the whole tooth, and nothing but the tooth. I
Right.
know.
Tooth.
I got punched in the mouth, had a big old hole in my lip. It showed tooth.
It's impressive how
Which
well you held up, Shizzy.
I heal up fast.
Yeah,
My wife hates it. She's just like, "How do you do that?"
incredible.
Like
Heart lizard.
I've had I cut, because I do a lot of like work with like vegetables and cutting and crap like that. We have really sharp knives, and whenever they're not sharp, like there's been times that the knife might have been slipped while cutting an onion or something like that, and might have went like all the way down to the bone. Like this might have happened before, but I will tell you that keep super glue around. It works really well on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta wash out the onion juice first, though, because it burns like crazy. What is that? Duly noted. Don't want to be chipping a pretty smile with old hardwood until the gums are more mature. Damn it, Lesko.
What?
Says he doesn't want to chip a pretty smile with old hardwood until the gums are a little more mature. Damn it. He's calling you a youngin.
Well, she
Yes.
Was able to turn myself in.
She is.
Okay. If I'm understanding you correctly, Mr. Edgecomb, you're saying that there was a GoFundMe account set up for you at some point?
Yes, there were a couple attempts to have a GoFundMe set up in which I could
Hey,
get financial
Jackies.
assistance to help with my defense.
And at some specific time, there was, substantial amount of donors that actually donated to your defense through GoFundMe, correct?
Yes, that is correct. All their monies, though, were refunded.
And was that a setback for you, Mr. Edgecomb?
A huge setback because
I was
I
counting on
wasn't
that
in
money.
direct. I didn't feel safe contacting these individuals, or being around anyone, because I didn't want to put them in harm. As myself, I knew that I would. I was in harm's way because of the narrative that was placed out there as being the Brady Street killer by the police. So I'm thinking,
The police.
upon being pursued either by a regular citizen or law enforcement, like I would be killed.
Mr. Edgecomb,
Really?
at some point, did you ever change your appearance in any way to avoid being caught by law enforcement based off of these fears?
Yes,
That's not helpful.
Why did you do that?
I wanted to change how I looked just so
I could hide.
I could, I guess you can say, like, buy me some time before. I didn't want to be noticed.
So I could evade
So,
arrest.
during that,
Usually-
I
Yeah.
just wanted to,
Avoid
depict me
getting
looking differently because,
arrested, caught.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be killed ultimately. So I wanted to,
Prosecuted.
appear differently and, get my legal representation and then turn myself in voluntarily. I know if I
You never intended
I had
on
a
doing
notion and an idea, just upon
Yeah,
seeing on social
notion,
media and
an
different news
idea.
websites, like, upon seeing this guy, we're going to
You
kill
and
him
Amber Heard.
from regular citizens. And then, like I said, even the police department put out that I was the Brady Street killer.
What's your business? Don't miss the mark.
Irrelevant sustained.
Damn it.
No, Mr. Edgecomb, you end up
Brandon.
getting taken into custody
Shame on
in
you.
Kentucky at some point, correct?
Yes, that's true.
Where were you coming from when you were caught in Kentucky?
I was coming from Georgia. I was headed back to Wisconsin.
Kicked
Now,
out of Fulton
Do
County.
you recall those officers asking for your ID at the time that you were pulled over in Kentucky?
Yes.
And what did you tell them when they asked you for your ID?
Yes,
told
he
him that I didn't
was.
have one.
He was running for months.
Mr. Edgecomb, were you truthful when you told the police department in Kentucky that you didn't have an ID on you?
No, I wasn't
Yeah,
honest.
lied.
The Kentucky Police Department also asked you what was your name, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Did you give them the name Theodore Edgecomb?
No.
What name did you give them?
I told him that my name was Agu Newman.
Mr. Edgecomb, why did you do that?
It was like a last effort in order to, stay out of their custody. I feared them. I didn't want to be taken into custody involuntarily. My family didn't know where I was. I could possibly be killed in their custody, like Miss Sandra Bland was. So I didn't feel safe with them taking me in involuntarily.
is
And plus, I didn't
Agu
have legal
Newman.
representation yet.
I got no be.
Mr. Edgecomb, when you were taken into custody, did you have a gun on you? Did you have that same firearm that you used on September 22nd?
No.
No,
What did you do with the gun that you used on September 22nd? of
I
2020?
lost it.
As I was headed to Georgia, in between Indiana and Illinois, I threw the gun out the window. I didn't want to be caught with it and, give anyone, police or a regular citizen, any reasoning as to, killing me and saying that I was armed. And it being justified in that instant, I didn't want to give reason, as to, being opposed as a threat.
Yeah.
Mr.
Now
Edgecomb,
you're
do you
full
recall
of
the
drama
Milwaukee Police
black.
Department ever coming down to Kentucky to try to extradite you back to Wisconsin?
I remember them coming down to talk to me.
And do you recall the
B.
Milwaukee Police
Ivory with
Department
his
asking
hand swings.
about what happened in Milwaukee? And you replied
I think he's
to the
about to
Milwaukee Police
bust a
Department,
move.
what happened in Milwaukee? Did you make that statement?
Yes.
Why did you make that statement?
I didn't want to expound, and plus on any situation that happened, and plus I didn't have legal representation with me at the time.
Getting a gut there.
Mr. Edgecomb, how do you feel about
B. Ivory.
what took place on September 22nd? How do you feel about this tragedy that took place?
Judging your relevance as to his later feelings about what happened?
Sustained.
Yeah.
And counsel, I'm not cutting you off, but it's noon. I'm getting the feeling this is close to being done with direct. Is that correct, counsel?
Are you about done with your bullshit? Is what he's asking him. Like, are you about done with your bullshit?
I'll withdraw my objection to that question. That's fine.
If you could tell the members of the jury about how do you feel about what transpired, that tragedy that occurred on September 22nd of 2020?
I'm trying to say my guy feels remorse.
I never intended to hurt or harm or endanger anyone upon that date. It was a tragedy.
Punching him wasn't intent. Pulling out a
wish
firearm.
I wish it
wasn't
never
intent.
transpired. I wish none of the events that occurred in that date transpired. I wish I would have just accepted being called a nigger picked up the food, and just went back home, and I would have just dealt with it from there.
No more questions for Mr. Edgecomb.
It's almost exactly noon. I'm inclined to put this over across till after lunch.
Yes.
It's going to be a short lunch, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming back at 1 o'clock. I will start no later than 1:15. The jury can go out. You know the rules. Don't discuss this case. Don't deliberate. Don't do any research. Don't follow any media accounts. You'll be back, please, at 1 or a little after. We'll start at 1:15. Follow my bailiff out. Everybody else can remain seated, please.
I believe in the 30-day appeal. If you're found guilty and sentenced to death, 30 days to mount appeal, then court. If upheld, 7 days to get affairs in order, then taken out back end. Uno, dos, tres.
All right, the jury's out. It's noon. We're going to take a 1 hour or slightly more than 1 hour break for lunch. The state can do the cross-examination after lunch.
Say that name?
I want everybody back promptly at 1:15 so we can get started this
Oganami.
afternoon. I still expect testimony to be completed this
Oganami?
afternoon. We're in recess.
No go Michigan. Yeah, there is no assault fist, murder firearm, evading, left the state, changed appearance, wouldn't ID himself, harassment, the way he talks annoys me, straight to jail. I'm with you on that.
Right to jail.
Do not get out of jail. Do not pass go.
No.
Do not collect $200.
No.
No, it just amazes me how unaware this guy is. Like we managed to go through that whole thing in one night. And guess what? That's it. We'll pick this up whenever I get back from out of town sometime in a couple of weeks.
That's right. You have your trip coming up with the wifey.
Well, it's for a little bit of the vacation, sort of. I mean, there is a graduation that's going to be happening, so we're going down to Jacksonville. One of the nephews is graduating. That's going to happen Friday morning, I believe, is whenever we're heading out. Sometime I might stream Friday. I don't know. I usually don't know these things because the wife says, "Oh yeah, we'll leave," and then of course it ends up being, well, how about like 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning? I'm just like, okay, whatever, doesn't matter. So I may do a stream Friday morning, but I will do streams up until then. I've got one that I've been working on that's gonna be awesome whenever I get back. Oh, I'm so excited to get started on it.
What's it about?
It is about corruption. It is the most beautiful corruption that it is, and it's all recorded. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna have like a blast with it. It is gonna go, and that one I'm probably gonna change up a lot of my schedule. Like, I enjoy doing What the Hell's on Monday because it's so much fun to like sort of catch up with all of that, and just like I've been slowly creeping up to where we currently are. I haven't even gotten to the trout. We're still dealing with all the other crazy stuff. And then of course you've got the tonsil twin stuff that's going to be coming up. When is that? Next month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
June 10th?
Yeah. So
I
the
shouldn't be
10th
as
of
excited, but there's so much anticipation going into it. It makes me excited.
I know.
Yeah, I've got my room. I've got my airfare. I'm ready.
Oh, you guys are so awesome. and so I'm looking forward to all of that. But this one is going to be fun. So no story time this Sunday. No, this Sunday, no, there will not be no story time. This Sunday I will be in Jacksonville. We talked about this. So like what I did was this Sunday, because it was such short notice, and in a way I knew that Kaiser was going to be rolling back and he was going to be tired. Dictionary Diva and Volstorm were, having a good time with Dollywood. And so what I did is I sent everyone over to go check out I Have a Story after I finished up my stream on Sunday. Sunday was just random watching, what do you call those, soft sits and just people acting crazy in court. But yeah, the one that I've got coming up is, it's gonna be so glorious. It just, I'm just itching to do it. And my plan was to to do that before I left, but the thing was is a whole bunch of stuff happened in the meantime, and I was like, oh, I've got to hold off a little bit because there's some stuff going on in the background I want to be sure of.
Okay.
And so we've got, whenever I get back, I'm gonna hit that thing so hard, not like in a good way. It will be a donkey punch, and it's crazy. It is crazy. Everybody, I will be doing something again tomorrow. Normally on a Wednesday I'd be doing a game stream, but I may do some more Edgecomb just so I could get to his defense. And yeah, I may do more Edgecomb. I may game. I may just, decide to take over the world. You never know what I'm gonna do.
Why not? It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. You got to get over the hump. Got to get over the hump. And let me see if I want to make sure that somebody is still going here before I send everyone over there.
Is Zach still in the chat? Because I have a little something for Zach if he's still here.
Oh, no? You have a little something for Zach? What do you got, Zach?
My little dino wants to say hi and give him a little finger.
Your little dino wants to say hi? Oh, that sounds kinky.
You weren't looking.
What do? Oh, wait. You got to get closer.
I know.
You gotta get closer.
Just take it off. Just take it off. Just. Oh, nice. You've got a dino in your pocket.
Yeah, in my pocket. Always in my pocket.
Always in your pocket. I love it. No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send everybody over to go harass MG. The original place that I had everyone sent over to, that stream ended a little while ago. So what I'm going to do is send everybody over to go see MG, give him a hard time, tell him that that we sent you over there. He's he's so much fun. Give me just a second, and there we go. There we go. He is doing some more Salvacet stuff. He is going to have a wonderful show for you guys. And on that, I will say, see you guys really soon. And make sure that you've subscribed to these two wonderful ladies right here. You got the big Johnson meow. Rosalind Duke, double meow. I mean, she's got her pink. She's showing some shoulder. You guys, you know what it's all about. It's
always showing some shoulder. I'm an 80s girl.
I love a buttered biscuit.